You've got well, 10 technically. Actually, thinking about it.
Well, sort of, yeah.
So
But
yeah, I
they.
mean, three of them are their own separate thing,
Hmm,
being the Death Guard, the Thousand Suns, and the World
now world
Eaters.
eaters, yeah.
Yeah. Um.
Which makes sense why Emperor's children are absolutely going to get their own range. The
Oh
big
yeah,
four.
the Big Four. I do believe that after Fulgrim and the Emperor's Children get their own range, then it will be Lorgar next. However much I want it to be Perturabo, I believe it will be Lorgar next.
I don't know. But honestly, Perturabo has had a lot more suggestions that he's about than Lorga has.
Yeah, but then Perturabo has had a lot more suggestions that he's about than Fulgrim has, and we know that Fulgrim's coming out next.
True. True. But then Fulgrim, I think, is a special case because they're obviously want to do the
Yeah, they have to.
main four factions first.
They
So
have to do the main four. Yeah,
I will say, I will say this: if Dawn comes back, fucking Purty's coming back. I think that's what they're going to save him for. When Dawn comes back, Purty is instantly going to be like, "The fuck you say," and like come
yeah.
out of retirement. Like,
Perturabo coming back in his demon form that is most definitely just a giant obliterator.
well, that's the thing. There's I don't know. The books have said he's a dreadnought,
Yeah,
not an obliterator. So
so he's
I
a
don't
Hellbrute.
care. I think
He's a
either way
giant
he will be
Hellbrute.
dope as fuck. He
Oh no, yeah,
seems to be something different because they have said that he's a demon Primarch. Like several people have gone, oh, he's a demon Primarch now. But
yeah,
I believe there's some Iron Warriors things that have said he's not totally a demon. He's a dreadnought, and he's basically somehow put himself in a dreadnought because of what I think Fulgrim like sold his soul or something, or used part
uh,
of his soul to ascend.
so
Um,
when I have read this in Angel Exterminatus,
mm,
um, Fulgrim wounded him in a way that damaged his soul.
yes, that's the one. Um,
So
so
a
he
bit
was
like
slowly dying.
he was slowly dying. It's a bit like what Horus did to himself to become the version of himself, the ascended version of himself. Because
Yes.
except Pert's was a much slower process, whereas Horus's was a much quicker process that he was burning out by the Siege of Terror.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it's Purty, and he seems to have gone "fuck you" and
Oh
thrown
yeah,
himself into a dreadnought to stop it. So I
no.
don't know. Maybe he's something different inside that dreadnought. Maybe he's changed inside it, but he's pretty much Robo Man now.
Maybe it's not the actual Perty, but it's clone Perty from Fabulous Bill's Flesh Labs, and he managed to escape the slaughter of all the Primarch clones that I believe,
Being the only competent one.
yeah, being the only
He's
competent
like
one of.
everyone's like, well, we'll fucking fight this, and he's just crawling through vents like he's just fucking in an Among Us fucking game.
He's not Alfarius. He would have fought his way out, but he would have done it, smartly, like using artillery rather than just going
Was
up
it
to
not?
someone and
Was
trying
it
to.
not Kurz that did that? That Kurz, I think, is the one that sneaks through vents. Because Kurz was sneaking through vents on the Rock, wasn't he? When he got captured by the lion, and he was
Yes,
just
yes,
fucking sneaking
but it,
around.
it wasn't the Rock at the time, but it was the Lion's flagship at the time.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was sneaking around in the vents, and he was contained according to the Dark Angels until he wasn't contained because he managed to. Um,
he was murdering people in the corridors. What are they talking about? Contained?
yeah, he was contained on the ship.
He
Uh,
was there. They
at,
know he didn't escape into the void.
at one point, he
Great.
was contained into a certain section of the ship, and then they got to Ultramar, and the Lion had to talk to Robute. So the Lion went down to Ultramar to McCrag, and thus all of the safeguards that were in place were then laxed for some reason, and he managed to escape the section of the ship that he was stuck on. And then, and then he managed to activate the drop pods. A drop pod assault on the crag by the Dark Angels, because nobody in the Dark Angels thought, you know what we should probably do? We should probably make it so that none of the other Primarchs can activate this, and only the Lion can. He literally kisses the pad that allows them to activate the drop pod assault, and because he's a Primarch, therefore has some of the DNA that the Lion has, he is able to just, set it off.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
Anyway, again, tangent.
Tangent, yeah.
So
at least it's about Chaos Space Marines.
It's Chaos Space Marines, yeah.
Somewhat. But yeah, so obviously you've got your Black Legion, who used to be Sons of Horus, but are now a mixture of everyone.
I believe they were Lunar Wolves, weren't they?
Yeah,
Lunar Wolves, then Sons of Horus.
Wolves became the Sons of Horus, who then became
Black Legion.
Black Legion. Although
Black Legion.
Not all of the members of the Lunar Wolves / Sons of Horus did join the Black Legion. A lot of them got murdered.
I mean, that's fair. It happens in Chaos. Yeah. That's a lot of backstabbing and murdering, especially the Black Legion. Black Legion do all the goddamn time to each other, to everyone else.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, they're a faction that of pure chaos that is just here to basically is the beat stick against the Imperium for chaos.
They are there to win the long war.
Yes, and anyone that's a chaos worshipper, even like just a heretic, not necessarily a full-blown chaos worshipper, can side with Abaddon and the Black Legion and go under the banner of the Black Legion. And they don't even have to go under the banner. In the 13th Crusade, like the Death Guard joined the 13th Crusade. I believe Night Lords were there. Night Lords were definitely there actually, because they were killing the Space Elves. And I think Red Corsairs were there. Like loads of Huron was there with those Red Corsairs. Anyone can side with, as long as your objective is vaguely, beat the shit out of the Imperium. You're in.
As you said, they're led by Abaddon, the Despoiler.
The Despoiler. The big bad of 40k, really.
The big bad of 40k. Often known in jokey circles as the Armless. Because his old model, the old model, the arms would always fall off.
Yep.
Also, it takes 13 tries for you to destroy KDO. What the hell?
I like the way they backtrack and were like, well, every crusade actually achieved something you wanted to... I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that Chaos is suddenly getting massive fucking W's, and they're actually seeing, like, hey, we're a massive threat now, like we always should have been.
Yeah. They're getting massive W's, but in the same breath, then the Imperium are getting Primarchs back every time the Chaos gets a big W.
Sure, but the Chaos is also getting Primarchs back.
Well, Abaddon split
the whole universe in two.
He split the whole universe in two, and so Brute Gilliman comes back.
Yes.
Abaddon makes the key, and the Lion wakes up.
Yeah, we did get Angron in that as well.
Yeah, you did get Angron in that. And
plus,
to be fair,
and Morty was already around.
Yeah, Morty and Magnus were around.
They've to be fair, like Mortarion has already been doing shit his entire time. Like it's not like he's been really fighting the long war. The Great Game. Sorry. he's been fighting the Great Game rather than,
The Long War,
smack
yeah.
against the Imperial. But yeah,
So-
they've been there doing stuff.
And the one time that he does get involved in the Long War, what with attacking the what was it?
Macragge.
Yeah,
Well, not Macragge.
Macragge, well,
Ultramar.
Ultramar in general. He then gets banished and probably stuck in a birthing pod for millennia.
Well,
That's what
I don't
happened to
know.
Kugath. We don't know what happened to Mortarion.
Kugath got fully destroyed though. So
He's
his soul was destroyed, but his body was destroyed and he got sent back.
Yeah.
Usually, it takes a while for demons to manifest anyway.
Yeah.
He just gets special treatment because he's Papanogle's favorite, but he
was
upset
Papanogle's favorite. He's now the second favorite.
He's now number 2,
according to Rotigus, anyway.
It's still according to Rotigus, but I don't think Rotigus would lie about it.
I mean, Rotigus is not a demon of Zinch, so I can't see why he would lie. A demon of Zinch would lie.
Oh, absolutely. A demon of Zinch would lie 5 times. It'd have to pick which one of them is the truth. And then all of the other 4 would be lies, maybe, or contain a grain of truth. This is why I don't play Zinch.
Yeah.
But Black Legion, absolutely fucking everything up at the minute.
Oh yeah, I mean,
keeping it interesting.
They also, Black Legion probably has the most character models.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, because they've got Abaddon and Harkon.
They've got a couple of others as well, haven't they?
I think they've got a couple of others, but those are the 2 that I know off the top of my head.
Let me get the app. Where are you? Go, Space Marines. Index, data sheets. Yep, Big Abbey. Obviously, just normal Chaos Lords.
I mean, they can have everyone that isn't.
Fabius, because they don't have their own codex. Fabius is technically.
Well, yeah, but he's
Chaos
not.
Space Marine. Well, he's not Black Legion. Yeah.
He's not Black Legion. He's his own thing now because creations of bile.
Oh yeah, I guess.
But
is there creations of bile in 10th? I'd have to look that up.
They don't have their own detachment or anything. But
I'll tell you what. Who else is Vashtor? He's not.
I would argue that Vashtor
his own.
I wouldn't say he's Black Legion though. I'd say he's his own faction.
I think in the game he's Black Legion. Well, he's Chaos Space Marines, obviously.
He's Chaos Space Marines, yeah.
Yeah, he's not really Black Legion. Yeah. They still only have 2 though that are Black Legion.
He works very closely with Alpha Legion in the books.
He does, yes. Yeah, they've only got really 2 named characters.
Yeah, but
Huron, who isn't really Black Legion.
No, he's Red Corsairs.
He's Red Corsairs, but he's his own real thing, isn't he?
And you got Fabulous Bill.
He works closely. Yeah.
And
Abaddon.
If I remember correctly, there's only 4 named characters in all of Chaos Space Marines. Oh, I mean, apart from Vashtor,
there is.
So there's 5.
Oh, maybe not. No, I think that's including Vashtor. Oh, and Cypher, yeah, but that Cypher.
Okay, 6 because Cypher. You got Abby.
You got Abby.
Harkon Worldcleamer, who is Black Legion, but also technically Night Lords because he used to be a Night Lord and then became Black Legion.
Oh, Harkon Worldclaimer. Okay.
Yeah. He's Abaddon's greatest lieutenant.
Okay, didn't know that.
Hence why he was in charge of Vigilus for so long until Abaddon turned up.
Is he a Raptor?
I believe he is a Raptor Lord, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I quite like
Raptor. Although you can no longer actually run a Raptor Lord. You have to have him or nothing else.
Is he not?
Well, by definitions, he would be a Raptor Lord because he's a Raptor model.
Yeah.
But you cannot make a generic Raptor Lord. So if you were going to run a Raptor Lord, you would have to use his rules.
Oh, I see what you mean. You can't put the jetpack on him. Yeah. Do you know in 10th edition though, characters are now leaders of squads.
Yes,
That's
that's
how
why
they work. So
I've set
he's
mine
dope
up.
now because he has the he is obviously got the raptor keyword, so he leads raptors. So
Oh,
he can lead a squad now of
that
raptors.
that sounds dope.
Um, he's got some good rules as well, but it looks of it.
He does look like a cool character and a cool model, but again, I don't play Black
Oh,
Legion.
oh, yeah, he's got the fucking bullshit assault Blood Angels assault squad. I've got where they do mortal wounds depending on how many units get into charge range. Like for every unit that gets into that makes the charge and is like like can fight basically, you roll a 4 up and they take a mortal wound for every 4 up
Oh Jesus,
just on the charge, which is
Jesus.
crazy damage. Yeah, like basically, like I first a guy that played Blood Angels, and he did that to me. He's like, right, that's my entire 10-man squad plus the plus the character into your squad, and that's 5 more wounds before I've even swung weapons. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, especially since mortal wounds are super rare now in the new 10th edition. Really hard to get more wounds off.
Yeah, but yeah. So that's Black Legion. We've gone into a bit of detail about them. There's Alpha Legion, who are the sneaky infiltratey boys.
Ooh,
I
they
do love them.
also. Have you seen recently that more laws come out about them?
Uh, I don't think so.
So they are not as mastermindy, like, oh, we're behind everything. We've got this grand plan, as everyone believes they are. They
I
are literally war bands of Alpha Legion. Some of them are still trying to be like as Alpha Legion as possible. Others are just sort of more chaosy war bands. But
yeah
their whole point is that they get more shit done, basically like confusing the enemy because everyone has this idea that they're so behind everything, so
yeah
secretive, so like complex plans. That's not how they are at all.
no
Well, they are like that, but they cannot be like 5 steps ahead. They're not like they're
yeah
not that good. And there's a point in one of the books I think where one of their legions, well, one of their chapter sort of things, warbands gets their ass kicked by the Imperium. Absolutely, like, they have to
yeah
hightail it out there, get the shit kicked out of them. And they go, right, well, the point is, even though we lost, the point is that the Imperium will spend the next 200 years looking at us running away and think, what did they accomplish? What was their master plan? And they will pour over, they will spend so much resources, so many scribes will die just writing reports on like every single movement we made because they think we're that ahead of the game.
yeah.
When
Uh,
really we just got bodied and left.
I remember hearing that in Harrow Master.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah, that
good.
that was a bit in Harrow Master. Yeah, that was hilarious.
So that's what they're all like. Like they
Yeah,
they're just like, it's just making the enemy think that you are so complex and conspiratorial.
uh,
They like are trying to figure so much stuff out that isn't there. They are just gaslighting. That's all they're
yeah.
doing.
Uh,
It's
also,
fucking amazing.
also, I've heard that in the End of the Death books that it's actually implied that they were loyalist at the end because
Possibly.
there's a massive force of Alpha Legion under the Imperial Palace that are in stasis, and
Okay.
they have two code words. One is to say loyal to Horus and bring about chaos, yeah, siding with chaos, and the other one was siding with the Emperor and fighting against Horus.
Yeah.
And two Alpha Legion operatives were sent down there to act them, and both of them were sent with the code word to activate them to be loyal to the Emperor.
Oh damn! Okay. Chicken and never got down there.
Well, one got intercepted by someone who wanted to have Horus control chaos, and so mind controlled the Alpha Legion operative that they intercepted, and found out the code words and got was going to get them to say the other code word.
Yeah.
And then that operative then was forced psychically to murder the other operative.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Which is a bit of a bummer because we could have had loyal Alpha Legion, but no.
We still. I mean, yes, still could.
I mean, technically, yeah, still can.
I don't know. They might have been eaten by gene stealers by now.
Yeah, maybe.
They're on Terra.
Yeah, they are. That is possibly the most terrifying thing. But yeah, so Alpha Legion being all about infiltration in that, they've infiltrated literally every Legion, and I'm 100% convinced that 90% of the people in the Death Watch are now Alpha Legion.
It's always the Death Watch.
It's always the Death Watch.
Always the Death Watch that get fucking Alpha Legion.
Yeah.
It's probably because they're probably so easy to infiltrate because they're all made up of other chapters.
Yeah.
That get usually send out like rejects or something over as well, which is quite funny. Or the ones that they don't get along with. It depends on the chapter. But
it depends on the chapter, but also a lot of them see, at least a lot of the first founding chapters, see being sent to the Death Watch as a honor. So they send it to, they give it to the best people. The only reason that Str8 put Zed up wasn't necessarily because he didn't like Zed, but because he was hoping that the Death Watch would teach him something that he was never able, Str8 was never able to teach him, which was humility.
Well, that didn't work out well.
I mean, if you read him in the books, no. As far as I'm aware, he's still alive and still being an absolute dick.
I haven't read the last book, but just for the second bit, I loved him. A fucking Raven Guard that's like, yeah, fuck stealth. I want to fight in pure melee combat. That's what I want. They were all sort of misfits. You had the Ultramarine who's like, okay, he's a stock up asshole, but he is so like the epitome of like a meme of what Ultramarines are like. You know what I mean? Like they're so fucking up themselves. He's literally the meme, and it's fucking amazing. And then you've got Omni, who's just fantastic as well. The absolute fucking jacked lad that's been told he can't get any like more jacked because the Mechanicus are fed up of making fucking armor just for him because he's so fucking jacked.
Yeah, he was so short after implantation that he felt he had to compensate by getting wide.
I love that, especially like Dawn's boys are usually, well, the Imperial Fists anyway, are usually pretty stern as well and like stoic. And you've got Oni, who's just cracking jokes every 5 seconds. Winding people up is so good.
My favourite part actually for his story is actually his introduction in the first book. Yeah, obviously it tells you that bit about how he was short, and so he got really big, and so they had to keep making armor until his chapter master went, stop working out. You can maintain your current figure. Do not get any bigger. He was like, fine. But he's running through a trench with 2 rocket launchers.
Yeah, that's how fucking jacked he is.
That's how jacked he is. Like, other Space Marines would struggle with 2 rocket launchers fully loaded. He just runs over, chucks one to another Space Marine who manages to catch it because it's only the one, and then they destroy a Defiler, I believe it is, together.
Oh damn! Okay.
with the rocket launchers. I
I just love
imagine if they
him
had made
and-
it, if they'd made a left-handed rocket launcher, he'd probably destroyed the Defiler by himself.
Probably, honestly, I feel like he could fire both at the exact same time and just stand there with like take the back blast. He wouldn't care.
Yeah, exactly. That's what.
I love the fact he's always like the Ultramarine guys, like especially when he's sniping off the gunship at the Tau, and he's like, "Oh, you've got to shoot that battle suit," and he's like, "I can't get a clear shot. It's impossible." He's like, "Well, if you can't do it, mate, like, okay, I'll pick up the slack if you can't do it." He's like,
Yeah.
like, it's just, like absolute fucking just sets off. He's like, "Oh, fucking do it, you little shit!" Like, don't you tell me I can't do something? And he's just laughing. He's just like, "Yeah, it's okay, mate. If you're not good enough."
It's like they deliberately piss him off just so that he then does what they want him to do.
It's exactly that. It's so good. And it works every time without fail.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a good series. I need to finish it.
If I remember correctly, because I don't think they ever actually released the third book in that trilogy. So I
Did they
can't find
not?
it. I can't find it anywhere.
Oh,
That's
shit.
one of the books that I've been looking for. But I do know that they have released lore of them after their Death Watch, at least Omni, after his Death Watch secondment. Because I do believe he becomes a captain.
Oh, really?
In the
Imperial Fist.
the Imperial Fist, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna fucking Google this.
Pardon me.
I thought there were 3 books. There's an omnibus. Must be 3 books then.
I don't know if the omnibus actually, because I think that's just a collection of short stories, isn't it?
Death Watch spring into action in the 3 novels and a dozen short stories. So there is the 3 main novels, and then there's the short stories.
So I need to get the omnibus to get the third novel, because you can't buy the third novel separately anywhere, as far as I could tell.
I don't know what the really annoying. It doesn't give you a list of the books in there.
The Death Watch omnibus, Death Watch, and then Death Watch Shadowbreaker. There is no third book.
Okay, that's really annoying.
Yeah. So you can't find out the name of the third book without owning the omnibus. If you own the omnibus, then the other 2 books are pointless.
Oh, that's annoying because I think I bought it as a an audiobook. So I have the second one as an audiobook.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know it was a series when I bought it, so I've only had the second one.
All right.
Oh, damn. Okay. Anyway, another tangent over.
Back to Chaos Space Marines. So we've done Black Legion, Alpha Legion. We've mentioned Emperor's Children, but we won't go into detail with them because hopefully eventually they'll get their own.
It's probably best we don't go into detail with Emperor's Children.
Yeah.
Given what they get up to, it's probably best they're the Slaanesh faction, everyone. If you don't know what Slaanesh is, don't Google it.
Yeah. just don't. So the next one I'm going to talk about is Night Lords. Night Lords being the terrorists.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
That's if you want to play a faction of super soldier terrorists, then Night Lords are your option.
I finished their omnibus in January. And I know, like, it was a great series and a great insight into the Night Lords. Don't get me wrong. I really did enjoy it. The thing is, though, people have told me that have read it. They're like, "Oh, you really feel for them." No, I don't. Like, what are you talking about? You really feel sorry for them.
The only one you feel for is Uzas.
Yes, Uzas. Like, when that happened, I was generally like, You son of a bitch. I was generally mad reading that. I was like,
That
oh,
that
so
bit
undeserved.
we brought it up last time, but that bit hurt me in places that I didn't know I could be hurt.
Yes. Oh, the betrayal.
Yeah, but yeah,
Oh,
Night Lords are pretty cool, but yeah, they're one of the more broken up legions as far as I can tell.
yeah. I mean, they didn't get along great with each other during Cruz's reign.
Yeah,
So afterwards, yeah, they're just war
yeah.
bands now, barely surviving, really.
I,
Oh,
I
actually,
mean,
no. In recent lore, they're really coming back with strength. Actually,
yeah, because of Decimus.
yes.
Yeah,
Um,
um, which does imply that Septimus and Octavia's kid that they were eventually caught by the apothecary for their child.
it does sound that way. Yes.
It, I remember people were talking about why he's called Decimus and not whatever the night number is, and that's because they picked up another slave between in the third book, but he was never actually given that name.
Oh, I guess technically, but he dies. Yeah,
Yeah, he dies as well.
he dies pretty quickly. He's only on there for like a month at best or something.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's actually a good point. I didn't think about him. Off the station, isn't it, that they take over?
yeah.
Um,
They never call him by the name whatever nine is in that system.
yeah. So
And I think that the main reason is that the person who wrote it also had the same brain fart that I had.
yeah,
They couldn't come
probably it
up with
doesn't
that
roll off
number.
the tongue very well like the
No,
rest of them.
exactly.
So yeah, I think that's
Nynamus.
fair. But yeah, it is heavily implied. Although I thought Talos had a vision of her being hunted by the Inquisition.
He had a hit vision of her being hunted by the Inquisition and the
It's
Night
never,
Lords.
yeah, it was never shown that she was caught by the Inquisition. So I'm
Yeah,
assuming
so
that the Night Lord, I can't
it
remember his name. He
it,
was
it was
one
the
of Pilrog's
apothecary,
dudes.
wasn't it? I think
Yeah, he was a Red Corsair,
yeah,
but
he
which
was a
makes
Red
sense.
Corsair. He joined the Night Lords. I know that he was called the Flayer.
Yes,
But
he gets both his legs cut off at the end by the bitch,
yeah,
but the elf lady
yeah,
survives, but gets both his legs cut off,
yeah.
and is super bad about it.
Well, yeah. Oh, I
She
mean,
would,
wouldn't you be super mad about having your legs chopped off by an elf lady?
yeah, by filthy Xenos witch.
Yeah,
Yes, I would. Yeah, that's fair. So yeah, and Decimus, because it's he, I believe it's canon that he then goes after that elf faction. I can't remember which one it is. Um, that Eldar faction and does decimate their numbers before the Black Crusade. Black Crusade happens
yeah,
with a Night Lord fleet. So the Night Lords are pretty much unified and back now. So
yeah.
which is pretty interesting.
I mean, it's one thing that they've really done with the lore more recently is they've made the traitor legions more powerful in
Which is
recent
good because
times.
they're a threat. They're not just random war bands popping up,
Yeah,
doing shit. Which is and plus they can just go around the other half of the galaxy now, and just do what they want,
yeah.
which is horrifying. That there's a
I mean,
Night Lord fleet out there that can go around and do whatever they want
yeah.
is horrendous.
There's Night Lord fleet out there that have an entire half of the galaxy that is very poorly.
Doesn't know what's going on
Yeah,
and is very poorly defended.
yeah. It's pretty much only being defended by one
What
massive
was on the
fleet of
planet?
one massive fleet of Dark Angels that are pretty much staying together as one fleet,
Yep.
and the Blood Angels.
Who let's face it, the Dark Angel, like the moment the Night Lords see the Dark Angel fleet, They ain't gonna fight them.
No,
That's
no,
not
exactly.
the Night Lord's way. They're gonna run away.
We have warp signatures on the other side of the system. Do we know what they were? No. Let's have a look at the planets. Everyone's skinned.
Yeah.
You know what they were.
We can guess who that was.
And the Black Angels have been, well, they have been reinforced, but they were severely weakened by.
So many of them died. The devastation of Bull. Like,
Yeah,
I've got to read that book. But the devastation, because it was pretty much all, like, including their successor chapters, wasn't it? Like,
yeah,
loads of them got wiped out.
It was them and their successor chapters. All of these successor chapters, except one.
Flesh Terrors?
No, the Flesh Towers were there.
Oh, one wasn't there. Okay.
Yeah.
Who the hell was that?
The Lamenters.
Oh,
they said they did send. They did send a message saying, "Sorry, we can't make it."
Sorry, we're currently being absolutely destroyed by something else in the galaxy. Probably. Sorry.
To be fair, the last piece of official Lamenters lore that I know of was that they were still on their penitent crusade and were fighting Tyranids.
Oh, they were also fighting Tyranids.
So they were fighting the same enemy at the same time.
Just in a different place.
Just in a different place.
We can't help you because we're already being eaten.
Yeah.
And we can't spare the manpower to stop you being eaten.
Apparently 80% of their force was defeated, was killed in that
of the Lamenters?
Of the Lamenters, yes.
Oh, they just can't get a break.
Just to bring this up, at the start of their penitent crusade, they were allowed to have a full chapter, and
they're on crusade. So can't they have more?
Pardon?
They're on a crusade, so technically they can raise more if they want.
Not on a penitent crusade.
Oh, okay.
The rules for a penitent crusade is you are not allowed to reinforce.
Oh, okay.
They're not allowed to reinforce for 100 years, and they have to fight every enemy that they get pointed at.
Okay.
And
Jesus.
Quite frankly, just to point this out, they lost 80% of their force in that battle. They'd already lost 80% of their force in the entire crusade before that point.
I bet they're looking at that egg timer like, it's been 100 years yet.
Yeah.
Please. It's just me and Frank. That's all that's left.
If you bring it down to that law, like that, with it being like that, they're literally down to like 3 squads.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
At least those squads will be veterans for sure.
I mean, you say everyone feels sorry for the Lamenters. You know who I feel sorry for? The poor bastards that are serfs for the Lamenters on their ships. Oh, what chapter have I got to be enslaved to? The Lamenters. Oh no. Oh no.
They don't
Wait
know.
a minute, I didn't do anything wrong. Why have I got to go to the penance and craze? Shut up, slave. You go.
The best part is that they probably won't know about the Lamenters until they get on the ship.
Yeah.
And then they find out just how bad things are. Especially since it's like, you know, the Lamenters were part of the 21st founding and the Cursed 21st?
The Cursed founding, yeah.
The Cursed founding.
Was it not second founding?
It's definitely not a second founding.
It hasn't been that many foundings, to be fair, but there is definitely one of them that is. It's not up there in the 20s, but it's definitely the Cursed founding.
It's definitely up there in the 20s because it is the 20 something founding. In fact, I'm going to
really
Google it. Yeah, it's 21st founding is the Cursed founding.
It is the 21st. That Jesus, I didn't think that had many foundings.
I got it right.
I guess a founding is just whenever the higher ups like we need to slap some chapters together to yeet them at a problem.
Yeah, exactly. That is what a founding is. Yeah.
It isn't like isn't the curse founding? Didn't half of them immediately turn traitor?
Not immediately, but it did turn
Very
out to be.
quickly. Very
Yeah, very
quickly.
quickly. Very quickly, most of them turned traitor.
And then the others that were left were pretty defective as well, weren't they? Like they had
Yeah,
mutations and things.
the only one that didn't have any like outward mutations was the Lamenters, and I'm pretty sure
They had the internal mutation of
they have
horrendous luck.
Yeah, they have the internal mutation of bad luck. There's plenty of jokes online of people going like, yeah, whilst we were testing the Lamenters, 80% of them had a piano fall on their head. We have made sure that there are no pianos on this planet, and still pianos keep falling on their heads. We don't know where they're coming from.
That's just one orc.
One purple orc carrying around it.
Back to the Death Watch. Wasn't the Dreadnought Lamenter?
Yes, he was.
Because he was like, I just want to die.
I just want to die.
I want to die a glorious death.
But
like,
yeah,
his bad luck is everyone keeps saving him.
Yeah. Everyone keeps saving him, or whatever is pitted against him is just incapable of actually dealing enough damage to kill him. I mean, in the first book, he gets attacked by pretty much the entirety of the Genestealer cult that they're fighting.
Oh, really?
They've got
go well for the Genestealer cult.
They've got like rocket launchers and everything, and they still all die. He's literally buried under a pile of corpses. and you know, the rest of the squad turns up and they're like, well, there's this massive pile of corpses and no Chiron. Maybe he got evacuated because we're late to the evacuation. And then just the pile of corpses just shifts. And then he just walks out of it and he goes, no, I wasn't. They didn't extract me yet. I'm still here. And he's like missing. He's missing his gun arm. And his fist arm is like, his armor is all like dented and burnt and scorched and all that from all the attacks.
Flavors and like, yeah.
He's got like holes in it and that, and he's like, I'm still here.
I love the bit where in the second book where he's literally, they're trying to do like the stealth ops on the warehouses and stuff, and he's like, fuck it, I'm charging the tanks. They're like, what? It's like, you can't do that. Like, you'll draw too much attention. He's gone. He's already gone. Like, he's already left. And he's just running across the apron, firing a last cannon. He's like, fucking come on then. Into, like, I'm going to say this, Tau tanks that can one-shot him. And he's just running at them. And then I'm pretty sure he's only saved by one of the pilots of the Storm Ravens. Like, that's welded into the cockpit, like augmentedly welded. And he's like, damn. And then later on, that guy dies epically in like a crash, trying to take out the main Tau ship. And he's like, why couldn't have been me? So jealous.
My favourite part of that bit is that he's also thinking, well, it's not Tyranids, but it is a decent fight. So let's go, boys. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's fucking go. It's so good. Oh, I love him.
He is the best character.
Righty-ho. What's the next chapter on Chaos?
Next Chaos chapter. So we've done Black Legion, Emperor's Children. I've mentioned the three that mono dominants, but we're going to go into detail about one of them probably next month.
Well, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
To be honest. Whatever.
Whatever. So I won't mention them because they are your guys.
Yeah, well, we'll do a big faction showcase that we are with this.
Yeah. I've done Alpha Legion, done Night Lords.
What about T-Suns?
Thousand Suns, yeah, they are a mono dominant. Mono
yeah, we're not bringing them, so we can.
We're not bringing them. They are the followers of Tzeentch, the chaos god of sorcery, trickery, plans within plans,
The great deceiver.
Betrayal, the god that is not a god, as some people call it.
Well, okay, but if you asked Fabius that question, he'd say that to everything.
Yeah, I mean, one thing, there are some people who take that and say based atheist, and other people who take that and go, he was absolutely shitting bricks at the time. And then there's a third camp that was saying he was only shitting bricks because Slaanesh was forcing him to shit bricks.
Okay, I will say he was not shitting bricks because I know the scene. He was absolutely not shitting his bricks. He had a full chaos god, a full god. Wasn't their full attention, but even their partial attention focused on him.
Yeah.
And he, through sheer force of will, he looked at it and managed to rip his gaze away from Slaanesh.
Yeah.
The thing that, is the most beautiful thing, like the most hypnotic thing in the entire galaxy of all, not even reality, of unreality. And he ripped his face away from it and literally said to another demon's face, "Gods are for the weak. Do I look weak?" As he was having a fucking brain aneurysm from doing so, and both his heart stopped.
Down by the god.
Both his heart stopped, and his internal defibrillator had to literally restart his hearts. And he said that you cannot see he was shitting himself. I don't think atheism is weird in 40k because it really doesn't have a place, but that is fucking based as fuck.
It's like, to be fair, that second one that I was there where people were saying that he was shitting bricks, I've literally only seen one person bring that up, and it was very recently. And I'm just there like, how can you take it away that?
The dude, through all instinct, his body was literally shutting down, and he persevered through sheer force of will, physically dying.
Yeah.
His heart stopped. Both of his hearts stopped. He physically died and was like, "Fuck that. Fuck you. I don't need you. Fuck yourself."
My favorite part is that his argument was, "I think, therefore I am. You are incapable of thinking, therefore you don't exist." You are incapable of original thought, therefore you don't exist.
He's like, "You're all just energy. You're nothing to me."
Yeah.
The demon in I love the demon that is speaking to him is just like, I don't know what to say to this dude. He's physically been shown God, and he looked me dead in the eye and told me to fucking eat shit. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Oh, it's so good. I love it. I love it so much. Oh, fucking based.
Yeah.
Based old bastard. Love him. Anyway, T-Suns. Thousand Suns.
Thousand Suns. So Tzeentch, god of sorcery, trickery, betrayal, god of time.
Sorcery. Can't forget sorcery.
Yeah, sorcery.
He's not god of time, to be fair.
But
he messes with time.
He messes with time. To be fair, there are two entities that could argue to be the god of time, and that is Tzeentch and Nurgle. Nurgle literally had a demon that was in charge of time.
True. When was that?
And then Rabute killed it.
When was this?
In the Plague Wars.
It wasn't in charge of time.
Well, no, yeah, it was a demon of time sort of thing.
It's the manifestation of entropy. That has literally existed until the end of time. And it's like a weird contradiction where because he's already existed to the end of time, you can't kill him because that would create a paradox.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, but there's no like God. The time is like a concept in the warp as well, and
yeah,
it's not physically a
it's not.
true thing.
We know that when a demon gets to a certain point, if we cannot see them progress to past that certain point, if we haven't already seen them progress past that certain point, then they never do. Like we know that Kugath, as a Nurgling, drank up all of the poisons and became a great unclean one.
Yes.
So we know that he made that transition. He's now a great unclean one. So he's pretty much the highest rank that he can be. But if,
I mean, true.
for example, let's say, as we brought him up earlier, Vashtor, he's never going to become a full god because he hasn't been a full god in the lore before now.
That's not necessarily true.
Yeah. I don't see him becoming a full god because he's got a
So
model.
the thing is, and this does sort of connect with Thousand Suns and especially Zinch. Time, this the whole thing with like Eldar prophecy and all this. Time is not linear. It's sort of linear,
Yeah.
but can be changed. So, I mean, Eldar, a lot of it proved prophecy correct because they are the makers of their own prophecy generally, where they, we've better stop this and then fuck it all and cause it to go wrong anyway.
Yeah.
But the point is, like, you can have a vision and it's not absolutely certain to happen that way.
Yeah, I've listened to first of the Araman books.
Yeah.
Which is Araman's Sorcerer.
Yeah.
And literally the start of that book is we are fighting a war through time.
Mm.
And also the end of that book sets up the start of the book.
Oh, that's cool. But yeah, my sort of point with that is like, if you hark back to Slaanesh, all the Chaos Gods say they have always existed, but they didn't come into physical being until a certain point in our reality, at least, because it is directly connected to the event of the material, and so it's dictated on when they would have been created.
Yeah. However, we do know that then there was a Slaanesh demon attack that happened during the war in heaven.
True, yes. Because there were Slaanesh demons in a holding cell sort of thing that they had, didn't they? That they unlocked, basically.
Basically,
But
the Eldar and
Slaanesh is
the
all...
Necrons had to team up to defeat them as well.
Yeah, so it's wishy-washy.
Yeah,
Basically,
wishy-washy, timey-wimey.
The trouble is with the warp is it because it doesn't conform to rules of reality.
Yeah.
It can just be whatever the writer wants it to be.
Yeah.
But that also is equal for Vashtor.
Yeah.
Because Vashtor is spending the majority of his time, even though he's a warp being, in reality. So if he does something in reality, then and becomes a chaos god in reality, then I mean, he doesn't need to exist forever in the warp if he becomes one in reality. If that makes sense,
I mean,
because reality conforms to time, well as that doesn't. So it's sort of like up in the air.
It's also one of the things where he's sort of described as a demigod.
Yeah, he's definitely a demigod.
He's definitely a demigod.
We know that but it's also it just depends. Like the actual statement is, it just depends what GW wants to do.
But yeah, the prophecy for the next Chaos God is that it's the Dark King, and I don't see Vashtor ever being the Dark King, so he can't become
the Dark Prince or the Dark King. That is actually the Emperor.
Well, it's whoever embodies the Dark King's prophecy. Well, at one point it was Horus.
So no,
then it was the Emperor.
The Horus book came out. So the end of the Horus Heresy book came out, and
the the end of the
He
Death Volume
does get
2.
stopped, yeah, but he does almost become the Dark King.
Yeah, he gets stopped because he was convinced by Elanius Pius
Yes.
for Ollie Pearson, which annoys me because that's also a name of someone I actually know, and he's a bit of a dick. But yeah, old Pearson. And yeah, Elanius Pius told him to not be the Dark King, and so he stopped being the Dark King. To be fair, he did convince him by saying, "I will join your forces."
Yeah.
Which, I mean, technically, he already was joined the forces, but you know.
And with time being timey-wimey, they could, like, the Chaos Gods could, because the Chaos Gods have basically said, oh, well, we've always considered Slaanesh to be a Chaos God, even when she didn't exist. We always knew she was going to exist, so we just count her as always existing. That could be the same thing for Vashtor. They could go that route, where it's like, well, we actually have always counted him as a Chaos God because we know he will awaken and become a Chaos God. So he could not necessarily be the next God because they already know he is a god. Like, if that, it's so all over the place. It's just whatever the writing comes to.
I think obviously the Horus Heresy was planned by the Chaos Gods to turn the Emperor into the Dark King, and then the Emperor used free will, and it was super effective.
Yeah, basically.
But the prophecy of the Dark King still exists.
Sure, and just push further down the line.
He is going to be the fifth major Chaos God. So it's just whoever embodies that prophecy now.
I mean, maybe they could change it for him being the Dark King. I mean, I don't know if there's any other real candidates, to be honest.
At the moment, the next,
maybe Abaddon.
The next candidate is Abaddon, because obviously Horus was forgiven and died at the end of Volume 3.
Okay, yeah.
Literally, his body was turned into dust.
Yeah, he had his whole. He's not come back. His whole soul was obliterated. He's gone.
But from the sounds of how it was written in the actual book, his soul wasn't obliterated. And apparently, in more recent lore, there have been fragments of his soul, like Horus's soul, about.
Oh, interesting.
So that him being obliterated is apparently not true anymore. That being said, he was killed with the Athame dagger that he was the 8th murder for it.
Oh, okay.
And that one then also turned into dust after getting the 8th murder.
I take it there was a Cornite dagger.
I believe it's one of the shards of the anatheme that Erebus made.
Oh, okay.
But then it's also a separate thing as well.
Okay.
I don't.
It's a magical blade thing. Cool.
It's a magical piece of flint. That's all I know about it at this point. It's really confusing about that particular dagger.
Yeah,
because
it's probably a part of the lore that they'll quickly forget about that they wrote. Yeah. We won't have to worry about it.
Basically,
so much other stuff.
Basically, that dagger was given to some random militia bloke by the word bearers, and then it was stolen by Old Pearson.
Okay.
And he used it to then travel through the cutting through the warp and traveling through that to get to Terra.
Okay.
To the correct time and place. Then it was destroyed in a fight. And then it was healed when the Emperor healed Old Pearson and John Grammaticus.
Okay.
and then it was used to murder Horus.
Oh, was it murder at that point?
I mean, it was a mercy killing at that point, really. But it was the eighth death. It was the eighth sacrifice, basically, because it was
Okay.
the Emperor basically sacrificing Horus at that point to stop the Horus heresy.
Yeah. I just eight's the magic core number. That's all.
I know. It's also the fact that the Chaos Space Marine logo is the 8-pointed star. But
Yeah, like eight's his thing. Like have it as a
it's
different
his thing. Why is it for everything?
Yeah,
I get that he's probably the most popular Chaos God due to the fact that in the grim darkness of the far future there is only war, and he is literally the god of war.
He is currently the most powerful. Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's him. I want to say Tzeentch and Nurgle are pretty close, but I think Tzeentch pips it at the minute. Then it's Slaanesh.
I know that at one point Tzeentch was the most powerful, and the other three gods kind of teamed up against him, but he saw that coming, and so then smashed himself to pieces.
Yes, yeah. It's basically they check each other most of the time.
Yeah.
But all the powers of the gods wax and wane. Like there have been points when Nurgle's been the most powerful.
Yeah.
And things like that, where massive plagues have swept through the galaxy, empowering him. So it's whenever it's convenient.
If anything, just before the fall of Cadia, I think Nurgle was the most powerful because the Plague of Unbelief was rife in the Imperium.
Yeah, it might have been, yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, he's sort of beaten back now because of the invasion into the Scourge Star.
Yeah. But, yeah,
they're into the Thousand Suns, into sorcery and betrayal, lots of sorceries. Yeah. All their normal non-Psyker Marines are sort of mummified dust that just sort of do whatever the Sorcerer Lord wants. They're puppeteered.
They are literally vessels of dust that operate the armor psychically. It wasn't just the non-Psyker ones that were turned into rubrics. There was also some of the Psykers, including some of the more powerful ones as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. The rubric of Ahriman.
Ahriman's greatest fuck up.
Ahriman's greatest fuck up, which was actually Tzeentch deliberately causing him to fuck up.
Oh, of course it was.
Because Kairos Fate Weaver changed the Book of Magnus.
Yeah, of course they did. They're dicks. They're dicks to each other. They're dicks to everyone. And Ahriman only did it really because of the mutations that were basically killing everyone. The flesh change that was coming on from Tzeentch's gifts of basically turning everyone into a fucking chaos spawn for shits and giggles. Tzeentch seems like one of the worst people to follow because he just doesn't really give a shit and will toy with you, whether you're loyal to him or not. It doesn't matter. It is all a game to him.
Yeah. He's a bit of a dick.
Yeah, closely followed by Slaanesh. They're probably the worst ones, purely because Slaanesh won't necessarily toy with you, but the whole point is that you get off on emotions, so you'll probably do some stuff to yourself.
Yeah.
And probably enjoy it, but it's still, self-harm and all that sort of jazz, which is not great.
It's also the fact that Slaanesh is more focused on, attaining the unattainable with perfection in that.
Yeah, exactly. So
obviously it's not just the sex, drug, and rock and roll. You're always seeking the perfect experience.
Yeah, but I think they are the two that have them. Well, that's probably not true. The Death Guard Nurgle has the most physical mutations.
Yeah,
Well, Zinch actually probably outpicks them, but probably the most physical mutations are um, obviously Zinch, then Nurgle, then Slaanesh, then Khorne.
yeah,
Um, However, Nurgle, although you'll have like tentacles and things and mutations, they won't necessarily kill you. Like, well, they just they will if you're immortal, but if you're a space marine, right?
yeah,
It's usually not like a very instant thing. Like Nurgle will let you get to at least like 40 before you cop it, and
yeah.
you won't feel anything, and it won't turn you into a chaos spawn. The other two, Zinch and Slaanesh, do not give a shit.
Oh yeah,
Like they're quite. Zinch will probably laugh at you and your torment as you be. Both of them probably will. Well,
yeah,
actually, Slash will get off on it. Zinch will just laugh at you.
yeah. But yeah, the Thousand Suns are uh
They're
well
cool, actually. I really
they
like
are
their
cool.
look. Um,
It,
they are really cool. I really like their sorcery scheme and all that, the color scheme, and
it,
they're actually pretty interesting in 10th edition now. Have you seen what they do?
no,
I
is
can't
it?
remember how you get them, but you basically get like warp charges, and then you can spend those charges to do different things.
Oh yeah, 'cause
Like, so you could. It's
I
pretty cool. You can
remember
do like the warp
it,
gate thing that they used to be able to do to teleport somewhere on the map, or you can just like do. I think it's like a psychic bolt is the top one where you can
yeah.
psychically just. And one of them I think is just when you're attacking something, you can take away its armor save. So you can just go like that tank that doesn't have an invuln, that's like got a 2-up armor, doesn't have an invuln. You don't get save anymore.
Yeah.
That's one of the things. It's crazy good.
Man. Yeah, they are interesting. They were originally going to be the Chaos Legion that I went for,
Oh, okay.
but what
But
happened was
then you looked at Iron Warriors.
it, it it was less that I looked at Iron Warriors and more the fact that one of you know we used to hang around together to play it with our friend Jordan.
Yes.
He also wanted to get into um the Thousand Suns, and
Ah, okay.
I didn't want to have an army that was exactly the same as his. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's cool.
it wouldn't have been exactly the same because I probably would have done a different color scheme to him, but it would have felt
Yeah, yeah.
the
But
same.
you wanted a different faction rather than the
Yeah,
same. Like you didn't want mirror matches and stuff.
yeah, and I was originally looking at Alpha Legion, but then I learned more about the Iron Warriors, and hence why I'm a fan of the Petulant Man Children.
They are fucking cool though.
They are.
I really, one of the things about the Death Guard is why, like, they're similar to Iron Warriors, both because, I mean, I guess all Chaos is pretty much
I
like it,
mean,
where they're so spiteful. It's just, it's
and it's
the
not just
only
that
difference is
they both hard carried the heresy. Like,
they both did.
y y I know that everyone says that it was only Perturabo that hard carried the heresy, but Mortarion did a lot of work as well.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing on the Siege of Terror. Even when like in the final stages, I'm pretty sure the Death Guard try to storm the Astronomicon. Isn't that whole thing? Is there while um, what's his Snaky Boy and his faction are cutting people into drugs. You've got Angron and his berserkers just killing pretty much anyone.
Yeah,
The Death Guard are there. Oh, like this is the part where the Iron Warriors like fuck this, I'm out. But the Death
yeah,
Guard like then take over and like okay, we need to smash the Astronomicon because
yeah,
that's the only thing that will allow reinforcements to come here.
yeah,
But if we stop that, no reinforcements are going to turn up, and we can win this siege.
yeah.
But like
And
they only get
if I
stopped by
remember
the Dark
correctly,
Angels.
in the third book, it was the Death Guard attacking, and it was the Dark Angels and the pilgrims of the first Church of the Emperor that were
Yes, that
holding him
stopped
off.
them. Yeah, and it was
Very
weird
much
because I
it
believe
was
it's
the
led by Cipher as well. against the Death Guard. Cypher led the Dark Angels.
It was Corswain and Cypher, but
Yeah.
Cypher wasn't revealed until like the end of the Deaths Volume 2 or something like that.
Which is so weird to me that he's under traitor legions when you look at him.
Well,
It's so like he's actually part. Even in 10th edition, he's part of Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah, he's part of Chaos Space Marines. Cypher is one of these characters where nobody knows what side he's on, and they needed to put him
not
somewhere.
On Chaos's though. He's definitely not on Chaos's.
Yeah, but the only reason that people believe that he's on Chaos's side is because his ultimate goal is to kill the Emperor. He literally gets up to Eternity Gate.
Yeah,
he's literally outside the door of the Emperor and has murdered a custodian, and then the custodian gets brought back to life by the Emperor and tells him not yet.
Yeah,
and the thing is, he just walks away.
What I really like about the whole, because there was obviously in 9th edition there was the whole, if we kill the Emperor, he's a perpetual like Vulcan, he can come back theory. What I really like is that some of the Inquisition, like real higher ups of the Inquisition, also have that in law theory.
Yeah,
that they're like, hey, this might happen, but they're also like, but the trouble is, as soon as he dies, the Astronomicon just goes.
Yeah.
And not only that, sure, we're pretty certain he'll come back, but how long?
Yeah.
Will that take? Like, is it going to take like 200 years? It's going to take 200 years of going back to essentially the Age of Darkness.
Yeah.
Like, and that was, oh boy, that did not go well for humanity.
There's also, going back to Alpha Legion, actually, in one of their books where they're in Imperium Nihilus,
yeah,
there's a boy who has a similar psychic profile to the Astronomicon.
Okay, that's interesting.
That he is literally the lighthouse for Nihilus.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And Celestine gets told by the Emperor to let the Alpha Legion take him.
Oh, is that what they take? I knew that's what happened, but I didn't. I think I just got told it was a relic. I didn't realize it was a boy that had the same signature.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I might be wrong in that because obviously I've been hearing this from like third parties because I haven't actually read that book. But
yeah, I know the rest of it happens. I just didn't know that's what it was.
Yeah, that's what I've been told and read, and that. Again, might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was the case.
That's interesting.
Because it was
cool if that is the case.
I do believe that they took a living person, not a relic.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay, cool. I like it.
Which implies that maybe that might be one of the shards of the Emperor in that person's body.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, I quite like that.
And we do know that the Star Child story is being reintroduced now.
Yeah, thanks TTS. I really feel like they pushed that sort of.
They did push that.
Yeah,
it was something from like Rogue Trader era, where there was
and then it's only really well known from TTS,
all that kind of stuff, and then
TTS brought it. Such a shame they don't do it anymore.
There's still someone on Reddit that's saluting every day until it comes back.
Oh, is it? Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
It's like that one guy who's I think he's on. I don't know if he's on Reddit. But he bought like maybe it's Kickstarter. I think it was Kickstarter where he literally invested in a product, and it sort of turned out to be a scam. But he's sent a message every single day for like it must be like 10 years now because it was back in the day. Every single day asking where his product is.
Yeah.
But it's like it's not even like complaints constantly. It's like, hey, daily friendly reminder. Constantly like those little notes. I fucking love it.
But yeah. Next Legion to talk about.
Do we want to go angry with it?
With the World Eaters.
The World Eaters. What
Cool.
do? They eat worlds, punk.
No, my favorite mashup that people have is the World Eaters and the Word Bearers. Where they call the World
Yeah, they
Eaters
get
the
them
Word
confused.
Eaters and the World Bearers.
They're just carrying the world. Like
But,
Atlas from Greek mythology.
yeah. You got Atlas from Greek mythology and people who
And then
literally eat books.
yeah, it's like specifically like Bibles to the Emperor. They just open the pages, just big huge shards of paper.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Oh, yeah, the World Eaters.
The World Eaters. They
Specifically corn worshippers. The
corn
corn's
worshippers,
main
angry boys,
faction.
no magic whatsoever, which is part of the reason why I'm
Oh,
not a big
well,
fan of them.
that's technically not true.
It-
They
we
they have warp spice going on. They just don't call it magic.
yeah. There's there have been lore instances of psychers with corn powers.
Really? Okay.
There,
Interesting.
there was a psyker as part of, I believe, the Blood Pact, who
Okay, but the Blood Pact are a bit different
they are a bit different. They are
because they're more just Astra Militarum with a tinge of corn,
yeah.
and they're fucking badass, and I love them.
Oh yeah.
But they are still more Militarum than they are
Yeah.
full up corn cultists.
But this psyker didn't use psychic powers as in like, you know, smite or anything. I believe it's a woman, and she used her psychic powers to improve the abilities of the squad that she was with, and then they all got wiped.
Okay.
And then they all got wiped out, and so she went on a bit of a grief bint, and turned herself into a whirlwind of blades and blood.
Oh, that's fucking cool. See, that's the kind of magic I would like. If I then think Korn would be good if he just made like he's not like totally against magic. He's just against like pussy magic where it's shooting lightning bolts. Where it's like, nah, motherfucker, use a spell to hulk yourself to oblivion and then just make spinning blades around you or some shit. Like that's the kind of stuff that would be great. Or like a spell that like causes the enemy to frenzy. And go into like a bloodlust, so they have to fight. Or like I think that's how it should be.
Or something similar to like battle meditation from Star Wars, where you make your friendly forces even better in combat.
Yeah, like physical buffs.
Physical buffs and like stuff that just makes you either yourself or your squad or your army just better.
Yeah.
So you know. Pumping
like
yourself up, basically warp steroids,
or even just like, hey, the army can't like my squad cannot be feared. Like they will not run away from battle. They have absolute like great morale, and they will just fight on and things like that. Yeah, I think that would be great.
Yeah, that kind of thing, I think, should be. You know, it's one of those. I think the main reason that there is, well, we do know that there are instances of other corn psychers in the lore. What with, you know, Dawn of War having several.
Yeah, exactly.
Despite the fact that, you know, again, Korn hates psychers.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like it's one of those things.
I would say, interestingly, in 10th edition, Korn is probably my greatest. Well, specifically, World Eaters are my greatest counter. Specifically, at the minute in 10th edition, it's either Korn or Blood Angels. Like any, or probably even more Blood Angels because they got buffed recently. And Korn actually got nerfed. Well, World Eaters got nerfed. They were a tad ridiculous. Some of they didn't need. They went. It's one of those things where I think they were too heavy-handed in the recent points change. But I will say, Master of Executions can go fuck themselves. Like they were bullshit.
The most kit bashed model in the world.
Yep.
Because it's practically impossible to get the actual model.
Yep. Well, you know what you could do was you could put an enhancement on them. I'd have to look up the enhancement.
It,
The
w-
enhancement was bullshit.
it
It
was like
gave you like,
the chain glaive or something like that. There was like glaive of corn or something like that, which just
well,
gave you
I'm
extra
pretty
attacks, wasn't it?
so if you Corn's thing anyway is +1 strength, +1 attack on the charge.
Yeah,
So they're getting that anyway. Then with the chain glaive, it made it like I think it was like strength 14 or something stupid. It was
yeah,
ridiculously strong, with an extra attack and an extra strength. So it's like strength 15. Then you would put an enhancement on, which gave it D3 extra attacks and D3 damage,
oh,
and it was already flat 3 damage
oh,
with precision,
yeah,
re-rolling all hits and wounds against characters.
yeah,
So it could be a flat 6, which is more than Mortarion can hit, with more attacks at a higher strength value, and had precision where it could just go, oh, you've got a character in the squad? I can just target that character if I want. I can just kill them instantaneously. I can put all my attacks into them. And since you've got a character in that squad, even if like I don't want to target the character, I get to re-roll all wounds.
yeah,
Like it was insane, and it was like a fucking 20-point enhancement. It was like it was
yeah,
just stupid. So I'm glad that got nerfed, but they nerfed other things, which I think was a bit unfair. I think it was a bit too. It was only really him that was a problem.
yeah,
Oh well, that and they had their Demon Prince, which gave all infantry a 4-up invulnerable if you were 6 inches of them, which was
yeah,
stupid on Khorne Berserkers.
yeah. It's just
It was just ridiculous,
yeah,
especially when you had, and then you can. Their whole thing is like a Blood Tide, I think, which is in 10th edition where you get to roll. I think it's 8 dice at the beginning of every command phase, and you can basically whatever you roll, you're trying to make like pairs of stuff, like 2 5s, 2
yeah,
4s, things like that nature, like doubles, and then you can use those if you got, depending on what you roll, to unlock certain things, like advance and charge for the entire army,
yeah,
move an extra 2-inch movement for the entire army, which were those were the easy rolls. And then you had like you can get a 6-up feel no pain across the entire army, like
yeah.
you can get what was the other one? It's bloody
Wasn't it?
extra attacks and stuff. It was sustained ones, stuff like that.
Wasn't it? It's a 6-up feel no pain unless it already has a feel no pain, in which case then it becomes a 5-up feel no pain.
Yes, which I
And
think the Exalted had a feel no pain already,
and I
so
think
they went to a 5-up.
at one point it was also the jackals had.
Oh, that's all. That's also what got nerfed. Yeah, because they
Yeah,
had a 6-up and they had a 5-up feel no pain
yeah,
for cheap cultist infantry.
yeah,
That could also sticky objective something. So I believe it's like a stratagem that if one of them died on an objective, like it was
yeah,
like, oh, their blood is on the objective, you can make that sticky for corner. You can
yeah.
continuously hold it until the end. It was crazily good. Well, that might have just been their thing anyway.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was crazily good. So they have nerfed that as well. But there's also the Angron. If you roll 3 6s, Angron immediately revives in Deep Strike with full wounds,
Yeah.
which is like
He,
it's ridiculously strong.
he's he's a bit powerful.
He's an absolute unit.
He,
People charge him in, like he can get into your deployment zone. I'm pretty sure on any deployment turn 1,
yeah,
if he gets advance and charge, it gets a good charge off,
yeah.
and the +2 movement. It's crazy.
It's
And then you kill
yeah,
him, and he comes back again.
yeah. I've known people who have faced up against world eaters and have had to kill him like 5+ times.
Yeah, you can get him back every turn.
Yeah,
It is, yeah, it is insane. Plus, you can get like enhancements to re-roll like the dice. That's what I had in my last game against him. I killed Angron, and it was like he didn't come back one turn. Turn 3, he got like I don't know if you have to have a certain character and objective or something, but then you get to re-roll the blood tide dice that you don't like.
Yeah.
And yeah, he just rolled an extra 2 6s. I was just like, you motherfucker! Angron's immediately back
Yeah.
within 9 inches of me.
It's
I think I killed him with Mortarion. No, but I managed to kill him, and Mortarion was like on a few wounds left. Then he basically rezzed him and charged Mortarion again and just wiped him.
here's the thing.
Like, okay.
Arguably, it should be on a pair of 4s because that makes 8. But I know that would be too easy because that's the average roll.
Yeah, exactly. So
That's why it has to be the 2 6s. But yeah,
3 6s it has to be.
oh, 3 6s. Okay.
It's 3 6s, so it's unlikely, but then you can get rerolls.
Yeah.
I think there is a thing you can do to re-roll your blood, like re-roll all your blood roll dice as well, like once per game, something like that. They have stuff that makes it easier to do.
If anything, it should be all 8 6s, but then it would be impossible.
Yeah,
Well, not impossible, but very unlikely.
It would literally be ridiculously hard. No one would ever do it. Be like
Exactly.
once in a like one would happen like maybe a year.
Yeah. Unless you get all of the re-rolls.
Yeah, I miss being able to kill him with poxwalkers. That's the thing, because my poxwalkers they're terrible now, poxwalkers, but they used to be like you could pop mutant strain, and then every 6 to hit would be a mortal wound.
Yeah,
and you just bring down mortal wounds. It was like, you'd have to roll incredibly, but I've seen it done where 20 poxwalkers have charged in full health and killed it instantly.
Yeah,
and you're just like, yes, by a 50-point unit.
Yeah.
But anyway, World Eaters, yeah, they're
World
full
Eaters.
of blood. They love blood. They love killing stuff. They're literally the run in with chain axes, cut stuff up, and die. Yeah, they're pretty cool. And Khan the Betrayer is probably the biggest G in all of 40k. But he's definitely up there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Space Marine that goes around with only one sleeve, and the other arm is so jacked that
you can't fit,
or you can't I don't fit even think your armor into it.
I don't even think it was that. He had armor on that arm. He just got so jacked that I'm pretty sure he flexed and it broke the armor.
Yeah.
Like, at least if that didn't happen, that's my headcanon.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that did happen. And he also had... I mean, there's only 2 times Erebus has ever got what he deserves. One is from Horus. And that was, as cool as that was, but he did have 2 people hold him down when that happened.
Yeah.
Khorne straight up marched to the motherfucker. Was like, hey, you killed my best friend. Fucking fight me.
Yeah.
And proceeded to get one of the most biggest one-sided ass kickings so deserved in all of Warhammer. It's so good.
Wasn't it what was it? Sanguis Extremis was the term for the fight. It was to the death, basically.
Yes, it was, because they're... So he knows that Argel Tal, which is actually a word bearer.
Yeah.
Basically,
not just a word bearer, a Galvorback.
Possessed.
A possessed.
Yes. But he basically Erebus murders him. Because Erebus is a dickhead.
And Khan figures it out. Because...
And it just happens that he's also best friends with Khan.
Yeah,
no, he doesn't figure it out. Lorgar figures it out. And
Lorgar figures it out and tells him.
He's just like, I've had enough of the Erebus being a dickhead. Like, I've just had enough of him.
Yeah.
Hey, Khan, I know who did it. And literally tells him, and Khan's like, say less, and literally just beelines it. And then like he finds Erebus in the middle of like sparring with fellow word bearers, and I think there's a couple of like world eaters there. They're like doing a training session, like sparring friendly. and he just walks up to it. I think he's about to accept a challenger of I think a World Eaters challenger, like
Yeah,
as a sparring partner.
it was another world eater that was going to
Yeah,
challenge
going to
him,
spar Erebus,
and
and
and then
Khan
Khan put his hand on
walks
the
up,
guy's shoulder,
walks
and
up like a cheat.
the guy turns around, looks at him, and like if it basically said to himself, if it was anybody else, I would have just shrugged him off and went in, but because it's Khan, despite the breach in protocol, he's gonna let it happen.
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna mess with Khan. I know what that gets me. And then Khan's like he Khan. I don't think Khan even says anything.
Uh,
And
it,
Erebus is
he,
like, "Oh, you wish to challenge me instead? What should we fight to?" And
he,
he literally then says that.
yeah,
That's all he says.
he says nothing. He just walks into the. He's like, "What should we fight to?" Sanguis extremis, which means all blood.
Yeah, and I love the way Erebus is just like, what the fuck? Because he doesn't know that he knows. And
Yeah,
instantly it's like, ready? And Khan is just on him,
yeah.
like, constantly. And he's like, I can only defend, and even that's not enough. Like, Khan is just kicking the shit out of me.
It's not just that Khan is moving even faster than any other space marine. So
So,
fast that Erebus can't even keep track of him. And remember, Erebus is somewhat powered by the gods,
oh
maybe
yeah,
a
he's
little bit.
pretty powered up, yeah.
Like he's at this point, it's not confirmed, but he probably has some gifts.
I mean, he really did start the whole thing in motion. I
He
think
did.
he's got some gifts.
He must have.
But the thing is, it's stated that that is the strongest that Khan's ever been.
Yeah.
Because he reached a place of anger, but also like complete like mental security.
Yeah.
That make like serenity.
Yeah.
So he's both completely enraged and also serene at the same time. Like he's focused completely on the fight,
Yeah.
but also using his rage fully to empower himself. It's
Yeah.
like it's the strongest Khan's ever been, which is ridiculous considering what Khan's done.
Yes.
It's crazy.
And as far as I'm aware, he has never reached that level ever again.
Never has, no.
He did accidentally kill a Sister of Silence.
The Sister of Silence, wasn't it?
The Sister of Silence, yeah. The
Yeah,
main
it
one.
was like the head one, and he did it on a backwards glance and didn't even realise.
Yeah.
He did it accidentally.
He didn't notice that he'd killed her. He just noticed that his kill counter went up one. And he went,
Yeah, one more than he expected.
yeah.
Like, what?
He's like, what happened there?
You just killed her on the backhand, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's so good. Oh God, ridiculous. Because she tries to cut him down from behind, doesn't he? And he accidentally he's like going on the backswing to swing back into someone, and he accidentally takes her out.
Yeah.
So good.
Honestly, the best part about it is that character is so soulless that nobody even knows she's there.
Yeah.
And
Which is weird, because you'd think that. I mean, you'd thought that people would have felt a presence because of how soulless she is, but then it's also the World Eaters, and they hate psychics, so
yeah,
none of them are psychers. So I guess they just they didn't realize.
To be fair, her blankness is the weirdest thing in all of the lore about blanks, because her blankness just made it that people didn't even know that she was around. She was just ignored by everyone. Like they didn't even feel her.
That's not. I don't know. That's a bit weird. There's something similar I've heard, and that's from a you know what the assassins were? They're
Colexus.
Coloxus. So that sort of happened with the Coloxus, where I think it's in the new Kingmaker or something book that came out a year or so ago, maybe a couple of years. But basically, he goes to assassinate a Tau, and all the other assassins are trying their routes, like they're Vindicator on snipe, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
He literally just walks in and kills the dude. like walks in through the front door. I think he gets on a train at one point, just sits on a train in public and goes there, and no one stops him. And the reason for that is that he is such a null that they refuse. Like, he's so horrendous to feel, even to a town that's got like a minuscule soul, that they won't look at him.
Yeah.
That none of but that it's, he says that like they subconsciously know he's there, but because he's so horrifying to them, they subconsciously just blank him out and ignore him. So unless it's like that, would make sense. But
it might be
if it's like, oh, I'm so soulless that no one realizes that I'm there, that's a bit weird. Like, it makes sense that they're so weirded out that subconsciously everyone just ignores him. I think security machines go off and people just like shut that shit down and like, no, nothing's happened.
Yeah.
Because they just don't want to acknowledge him.
Yeah. Because he assassinates the living embodiment of the Talvar, doesn't he? The head ethereal. And then
I'm pretty sure
they mind scan him, and he is now the longest living Tau ethereal because he's literally an AI now.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Because they didn't want to admit that he died.
Yeah, there's a lot they don't fucking want to admit to.
Yeah.
Well, it's like in the there's one of the Damocles golf books, I think, where it's implied, where they try to go through the memories of, they're like memory interrogating a Raven Guard.
Oh yeah.
But it's heavily, is it that one? Yeah, I think it's that one. But
he realizes it's happening, and then starts basically doing the older what the Americans taught their soldiers to do when they're being tortured, which is only say your name, rank, and serial number.
Yeah, well, that's
else.
something you're supposed to do as a prisoner of war.
Yeah. He starts doing that, and then they try to break past that, and then he just turns around and just goes, "You will never defeat us." And he starts showing them like horrific images that they couldn't possibly deal with. That they were being traumatized by him, basically. And he just turns around and just goes, You cannot possibly defeat us, and then just,
I'm pretty sure it ends up wiping out most of the scientists working on him, doesn't it? It ends up killing a bunch of people.
He kills himself in a way that sends a mental backlash back at them and kills a bunch of them. Because they're so deep in his mind that when he dies, he causes them irreparable damage. and he, like I said, he literally it's got so much mental control that he literally just tells himself to die and dies instantly.
40k, I love it.
Yeah.
But there is a point in that where there is an ethereal, well, sort of, but it's human at the end of that book.
Oh, weird.
And what it is, he's an ex-inquisitor, but they treat him as as the same level as an ethereal, because he meets, I can't remember they're called, the humans that side with the half the book's about the Raven Guard, half the book's about the human that sides with the Tau and what they
the Gweilar.
The Gweilar, the Gweilar meets him at the end, but he has this like.
Is it Gweilar or is it Gwevessa? No, Gwevessa.
It might be Gwevessa. Gweilar is human.
Yeah, Gweilar is human. Gwevessa is
human servant, basically.
Well, it's not human servant. It's one who joins the Tau.
Yeah,
because I've got the Farside books, and they have a glossary of Tau terms in the back.
He's got loads. He's got a whole planet of humans. Farside.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he meets him, and he's got like a parasitic worm that really creeps out the human, and it's almost like basically like out there that like the worm is what creates ethereals.
No.
Like having that parasitic connection, and that's what gives the mind control over the Tau. And you're like, So there could actually be a bunch of subspecies worms that are doing it, and it's not actually the Tau.
Yeah. It,
So
it's
it just lays like another layer of the conspiracy and Tau fucking lore.
yeah.
And whoever says the Tau are the good guys you've never read a Tau book. Like
Uh,
the Tau are
the,
straight up Big Brother. They're straight up
yeah.
like a communist state,
The
like a Big Brother spying on everyone.
the Tau in their original incarnation
They were good guys, yeah, but they've
were good
changed over the
guys,
years.
and here's the thing: I get where people are
Farsight's probably
coming
the
from.
only one.
I get where people are coming from when they say it's more grimdark that the Tau are the good guys, because obviously they are so in over their heads. Like literally anything.
Sort of. It's just it's the
They, they've got
so
they've got the
I think it's
tyrannous.
actually it's actually in the I believe it's in the second book of the fucking omnibus
Yeah,
um that you really get an insight into the Tau, and that they're doing like social engineering and things like that.
yeah,
It's really fucked up, like what they're actually doing if you really look at it. And okay, people get a better life, but they are literally like, there's at one point I think the guy's like, oh, well, with this planet, it's half humans and half Tau. What we're going to do is we're going to start gradually introducing like a sterilization agent into the water supply, so
yeah,
that some human, like, it has a great chance of like sterilizing humans, so their birth rate drops, and so that naturally, well, not naturally, but artificially created, the Tau will reproduce more, and the Tau will then take over all the voting and stuff because there will be more Tau, and they'll
yeah,
have more control. Because, and it's like, it's this subtle manipulation of like society in general, and there's cameras everywhere. They're watching all the humans. It's so like Big Brother authoritarian state that you'll just even more so than like what Tau society is it's insidious
yeah,
rather than the Imperium, which is just horrendous. Like, I
yeah,
mean, it's insidious versus horrendous is what it
yeah.
is, which is like
One thing I
anyway.
would like to bring up about Tau Law, a little bit of Tau Law that I don't think gets brought up enough. They are what is it? Oh, it's polygamous. Polygamous. They
Yes, they don't marry, so
but they kind
they
of do
get
marry. The Talasera is a similar thing to marriage,
well,
but
they
it's
get
group
breeding
marriage.
contracts though.
They
Oh,
get married
is
as a
it?
group. Yeah, like it's
Because
each
from the
squad.
novel, they are discussing breeding contracts, like the engineers as they're sneaking through, the Militarum are sneaking through. Their Tau
Uh,
engineers are discussing breeding contracts
yeah, it's
where they get selected by the state who they
yeah.
perfectly match and breed with.
It's a bit
But and then
different.
I was under the impression then when the birth happens, the kids are raised by the state, not by the parents.
It's something similar to that, yeah. But when it comes to actual like marriage and family bonds, you're not bonded by family. You're bonded by your place in the Tauba. So
Okay.
a squad of fire warriors will basically be married together in a Talasera bond. So
Oh, okay.
each squad is basically a family unit insofar as they are all literally having sex with each other.
Okay, what might be happening is that's the norm for fire warriors
Yeah,
and the fire caste, because the
yeah,
castes might be treated differently.
yeah,
Especially the fire caste, because the fire caste are all warriors. Like you have to be a warrior.
yeah.
So that might be exclusive to the fire caste, but the rest of them, I think, they don't need to necessarily have a familiar bond. I think they just like it made
Uh,
it seem like it was
I do know
just
that the
like especially against
water cast also have the bonding knives, the Talasera bonding knives, and do
Hmm.
form the Talasera bond with their castmates. But
Okay.
I think you're right in how it's
Maybe the
culturally different.
Earthcast is different, yeah, because the Earthcast are given contracts
Yeah,
that they have to produce a child with like other people, and they're just given a contract by the state saying you're fit for this person, and then that's it.
yeah,
So maybe the Earthcast is different. Interesting. Bit of Tau law for everyone there.
yeah.
Not that we're discussing
Bit,
Tau law.
bit
We're
of Tau law.
tangent.
Just to point out that we don't know anything about the Aircast with their mating rituals or anything, so we don't know
That's
whether
because all
they're
they do is fly and get blown up half the time. That's all you see in the books of the Aircast.
in the in the Farsight books. One of the Aircast characters gets killed off screen.
Oh, there we go. I didn't even see the on screen now.
And it's such a big plot point that he gets killed off screen as well.
Oh, really? Because
Yeah,
they're trying to find him and who he is, and yeah, he died ages ago.
but it's not that. It's literally Farsight was with him, like in Farsight's mind, literally like a week ago, and then
Oh,
the ethereal that is in charge of the Farsight expedition just goes, "Oh yeah, he died. He died in that area that you pulled him out of." And Farsight's like thinking to himself, "That guy said that nobody's allowed to go in there. Why was he back in there?"
yeah,
And
it's a typical ethereal bullshit going on.
It's one of what.
Demons aren't real; they're just aliens.
Yeah.
The Empire definitely doesn't have Titans.
Yeah.
They don't exist. I love the Damocles Gulf where they're. I think it's where the Riptides are first used and developed, and they're fighting the White Scars, and the White Scars have a couple of like knights from the Mechanicus with them that are like fighting all the Riptides and things. And
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, we brought down a knight like with 3 Riptides. Like, look at the glory of the Tau technology. It's beating back the humans." And then a fucking tight, I don't even think it's like a big one, comes out, and it just literally cuts a Riptide in half. It just straight up bisects one.
Yeah.
And then starts like, and then it like kicks another one into a wall, and they're like, "What the fuck is this?" And it just goes to town. And like, they've got a bigger thing than a knight. Like, yeah, this isn't like an emperor class. This is just like a warhound.
Yeah. I also learned another bit of Tau law recently. So you know how sometimes in the government, people will be given money to do one thing and then they'll take that money and do something else.
Yeah.
That's happened with the Tau Earthcast. The Ethereals told one Earthcast to not make big suits, but to improve the stealth suits. So he took that money and made big suits. He did it 3 times.
He just did it anyway.
Yeah, he just did it anyway. And the Ethereals cannot reprimand him, because when he unveiled them was, I believe, actually also during the Damocles Crusade. It was either that or during one of the invasions by the Tyranids, and they absolutely decimated the force that they were put up against. And the Ethereal was like, "You weren't supposed to do that."
But I'm glad you did. So here's some money.
we cannot tell you off because you literally just saved the Tau Bar. But seriously, dude, what the fuck?
Can you do as we ask? He's just like, what happens in my workshop stays in my work. Well, it stays in my workshop until I unveil it.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, you're gonna keep paying me.
Anyway, we've been talking about Tau for a bit too long.
We have, yeah, those filthy blueberries.
I mean, I wouldn't say they're the filthy blueberries, but
well, there are 2 types of filthy blueberry. One is slightly worse than the other.
There may be a third one if the Votan get any actual law, because they've got a blue faction as well.
Ooh, okay. It'll be interesting. Yeah, they really need to expand that stuff.
But they're supposed to be getting a book sometime soon, but
we can hope, because the range isn't the hugest. There's a lot of stuff that came out at the end of 9, like even World Eaters, which conveniently brings us back to on par with the topic again. World Eaters didn't get a great range either. They haven't had a massive one, unfortunately.
That's the thing with all of the mono god ranges, apart from Death Guard. Death Guard has loads.
So the thing with Death Guard is it looks like they've got a lot. Half of my roster is characters.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But yeah,
and look, one of those characters is even like fucking like the icon bearer. Like, you know what I mean? It's like they have so many characters.
Yeah.
So and they're not all Death Guard as well. Like Death Guard Codex does have like some chaos stuff in there as well. Like obviously I can run Chaos Lords and Predators. Like we don't have our own like Nurgle Lord or anything. It's just normal Chaos Lord and Chaos Sorcerer Lord. Which is a bit of a shame because I wish they did. We've got Plague Casters, which are great, or used to be great until the 10th edition, and now not great at all. But I would like a Lord version of like a Sorcerer, like for Death Guard.
Yeah.
Which is what I would like if they're going to do a character. Yeah, they've got some interesting demon engines and things, but but what annoys me is the whole thing about Death Guard is they're all about heavy infantry. That's the whole thing. Like pushed forward with waves and waves of heavy infantry, like Plague Marines and Terminators and all that sort of stuff. In 10th edition, battle line is like your infantry.
Yeah.
We have one singular battle line. That's Plague Marines.
That is the Plague Marines, yeah.
That is the entire. That's it.
Do you even get access to Nurgle Cultist, which is just the regular Cultist model, but with the Nurgle keyword?
You do, but they're not battle line.
Yeah, they're not battle line.
So battle line has.
So you can only have 3 squads of Nurgle Cultists.
Yes, you can only have 3 squads. I don't think they're good. Like they're not good at all.
No,
they're just. I don't.
That's the whole reason they should have been battle line.
Yeah, they're not
terrible. Good. They would literally just be things that you would put down to hold objective or hold the back line.
Are, because the thing is, like, I think the Jackals rule, because Jackals are basically just Khorne cultists, like they're World Eaters cultists. Yeah. But the Jackals rule is like I think they sticky objectives.
Yeah.
The Jackals. I just have that as my detachment rule, sticky objectives. So I'm not sure what they even do. Like, because they obviously don't get sticky.
They're literally just.
They just have that. I think they're just cultists.
They're just cultists. They're just people with auto guns and some other stuff.
Yeah, they don't get an ability.
They don't. They're literally just.
I get scouted, but I'm pretty sure other chaos cultists, like in do Chaos Marine cultists get? Oh, you have like you have better cultists actually. You have Ascension or something.
Well, we have access to better ones anyway. But also, also our regular ones can be taken as battle line.
Oh, really?
I believe so. I'll have another look, but I'm pretty sure we've got 2 battle line options, and one of them is the cultist.
You should have more than that, right? Like I would have thought that.
Yeah, we got cultist mob and legionaries.
Is that your only battle? I would have thought raptors were. I guess raptors are just.
I've always thought that raptors were a special unit anyway, because they're not.
Oh, maybe they are.
Because they're a more fast attack, aren't they?
Oh yeah, a cursed cultist is what everyone used to run, but they're not battle line. They're just better cultists.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, cultist mob. Yours is. Oh, they are battle line. Oh, that's Oh, but they're still only 1 AC.
Oh yeah. But you can take 6 squads of them, and I think.
They give you sticky.
Yeah.
So every other cultist gives you sticky. I just have that as like my army thing.
Yeah.
But the thing that annoys me is like they unveiled sticky as like, oh, that's going to be your thing. Every unit does sticky, which is sometimes helpful, but everyone else seems to have like their for instance, Space Marine intercessors just have sticky. Their main battle line just seems to do that, well as mine doesn't. I get that as like my entire like unique thing. I'm like, but it's not unique. Everyone
Yeah.
has it. What are you talking about? They just have it on a specific unit, not army wide. They have it on a specific unit, and then the army gets another rule. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
And then, like, why not just put it on Plague Marines or something that are going to take objectives? That would make it good because Plague Marines' ability is literally +1 to your leadership if you're on an objective you control. That's the
No.
whole thing. And you're
I
like,
do want to bring something up. We've been 2 hours on Chaos Space Marines and we still haven't actually gotten to the Iron Warriors, and we still got 3 more things to get to before Iron Warriors.
I told you should call this podcast Tangent
Yeah.
when we're on here talking about 40k or just anything really. Okay, so World Eaters, they like a lot of blood. They kill
Yeah.
people. They're actually really cool. Carl Betray's cool. Angron is a World Eaters is really sad as well.
Yeah.
Like, if you read what they're like, they are like a lot of Chaos Space Marines. Actually, if you read between the lines, it's depresso expresso. It's
Yeah.
so they're like Night Lords are depressed.
Yeah.
Death
Night
God are
Lords are depressed
definitely
because they were
depressed.
hated by their own Primarch.
Yep.
World Eaters are depressed because they were also hated by their own Primarch, but then also mutilated
Uh,
themselves to become closer to him.
who's this? Iron Warriors?
No, World Eaters.
Oh, World Eaters. I was gonna say. I was like, Perturabo does like his kit. Sort of.
No,
He's like he can never be proud of them, but he does like them.
yeah.
He's the
He,
dad that can
he,
never be impressed.
he respects some of them enough to actually talk to them.
Yeah. Well, as Kurz literally went mad and literally mocked his, like
Yeah.
gave them fucking names to mock them.
Yeah.
Like edgy names that he thought was honestly like he's like, oh, there you go, you fucking edgelord, have this name.
Yeah.
They're like,
Eh,
what an honor, father, and he's like, yeah,
you're,
you dick.
you're the
Angry
soul
the
hunter because I have a vision of you being the only person who will try to avenge me.
yeah, which I don't even want. So
Which
fuck
I
you.
don't even want. Like, just let them kill me and just let them walk away. You're not going to do that. That's why I'm calling you the Soul Hunter.
So good. Then you have, I mean, Thousand Sons are depressed. Well, those that aren't mummies
Yeah,
are pretty depressed
they're pretty depressed because of the
because
fact
everyone
that
else is mummies.
everyone else are mummies.
It's like, oh, all my friends are fucking sand now.
All is
Could you
dust.
imagine? I would love Anakin Skywalker to be a fucking rubric.
Yeah.
I'm coarse and rough. That'd be so good. Yeah, Depresso Expresso. I guess the only ones that aren't depressed are the fucking Emperor's children.
Well,
Because they're
them
just
and the word
doing.
bearers.
Yeah, the World Bearers.
I mean, the word bearers literally having their argument being, we were right all along on both counts.
Chuckle, chuckle, chuckle. I'm going to become a half demon, which is probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to invite another person into my body and we're going to live as equals. Okay.
It literally
Right,
only
so,
happened
well,
to
that goes for
one
you, fella.
character, and he got murdered by Erebus.
Yeah.
All of the other Gal Warback were pretty much taken over by their demon. Only Argul Tau had a what was it, a symbiotic
Yeah.
relationship with Realm.
Yeah, and they got murdered.
They had a respect and thus had control over how much they changed.
Yeah. Oh.
To be fair,
Oh. I have to read that book.
I do love the most recent Argul Tau model. I mean,
Oh, it's the one that's come out. Okay.
I believe it's out. It should
Oh,
be
I
out
didn't
because
know. I didn't know.
it's been around for ages.
Is it a Horus Heresy one?
Yeah, it's Horus Heresy. It's been
Ah,
around
makes
for
sense.
been around for a few.
I just didn't see it. It probably has been out. I just didn't know they made one. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it is one of their main
Horus Heresy, Traitors, Legions, Word Bearers.
Word Bearers.
Yeah, it's literally on the second line on the website.
Okay, cool.
Argul Tau, the Crimson Lord, commander of the Serrated Sun.
Okay. Dope.
It's him in his demon. It's him in his demon form.
Yeah, makes sense. Which nicely segues into the word bearers. God,
I've literally got the 9th edition Chaos Space Marines Codex in front of me, so I know which ones we haven't touched on yet. And word bearers is the last one of the main legions that we haven't touched on.
Yeah, so word bearers are basically religious fanatics for the Chaos Gods.
Yes,
they need faith.
They used to be religious fanatics for the Emperor, and then the Emperor burned down Monarchia.
Yes.
And
he
then
basically burnt down their religious site.
Yeah.
And they were like, fuck you. If I'm not allowed to worship you, I'll worship something else. And the Chaos Gods were there like, hey guys, how you doing?
Imagine it this way, yeah? You have a child, and you have a creepy uncle who is really into that child, and you tell that child that A, you are not a god, and B, do not even think about your creepy uncle. You do not have a creepy uncle. And they find out they have a creepy uncle. And because you're telling them that you are not a god, they then go and worship the creepy uncle, and the creepy uncle touches them inappropriately.
Yeah, pretty much.
That is literally the definition of what happened to the word bearers.
Yeah, it's not great. It's real not great.
But it is a really cool model for Argotown.
Yeah, I'm trying to... Oh, here we go. They've changed their website, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. It's, in my opinion, it's not very good. But
I liked the sidebar where I could just do stuff there. Now, God, the heresy model is actually really fucking cool.
We're going to get into heresy models later on, because I'm going to be talking about some of them, because I want to take some and use them for my Chaos Force.
Oh, is that? That's what he looks like. That's a sick model.
Yeah.
That's a really cool model.
It is.
Oh, that's really good. I really like it. So, what, a corn demon is he possessed by?
It's never stated which of the 4 he serves, but then also at the time the knowledge on Chaos wasn't that good, so they never really, like in the Horus Heresy rules for the traitors and that, and the demons, they're not named after the Chaos Gods, they're named after what the Chaos Gods represent.
I see, okay.
So rather than having demons of corn, you have demons of slaughter.
Oh, okay.
Stuff like that.
That makes sense.
Back in the old first edition of Horus Heresy, there was actually 5 Chaos demon factions.
Okay.
So you had the Khorne one, which would be led by a Khorne demon. You had the Tzeentch one, the Nurgle one, the Slaanesh one, and you had a 5th one, which was basically the embodiment of chaos eating itself.
Oh,
so that's the one that you could pick. It's not Malau.
Was it not Malau?
It's not. Well, obviously they're not allowed to use Malau because they don't own Malau.
Oh, okay. Do they not?
No. Malau comes from a comic that at the time GW didn't understand the rules for comics and artwork, and so they didn't say we own the artwork for this, and so therefore the artist turned around and went, well, I own the artwork for this then. And then they still have never actually got the rights to him back because they never owned them in the first place.
So dumb.
And as far as I'm aware, the comic writer and artist never turned around and went, I will give it to you for this much.
Oh, that's so dumb. Okay. That's so...
So
Okay.
it's not.
You're a ridiculously you're not a small company anymore, GW. Just
Yeah,
buy the rights.
yeah,
Just do it.
yeah. But yeah,
Stop beating around the bush. Stop introducing. If that's the case, stop fucking putting little tidbits of lore like, oh, he can still be out there. Like, dude,
yeah.
it's just fucking one or the other.
The best one is that there's a Chaos War band called the Sons of Malice
The Sons of Malice, which had
that have
actually
the
a
same color
recent.
scheme as Malau had.
Yeah, they had a recent insert. They were in the 13th Black Crusade at fucking Cadia.
Yeah,
There's mention of them there, like in physical. Is that why they called Malice, not Malar? Is that why they changed? Is that? I assume that's why they changed
it
the name to
is literally
Malice
Malice. Yeah,
instead of Malar, because he was Malar, right? I'm not crazy. It was
you're
definitely
not crazy.
Malar, and then they changed it.
Everyone knows who Malau is, but
Yeah.
obviously GW can no longer use that name or the
Okay.
character
Yeah.
that's related to it.
So yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
But yeah,
Oh.
I believe in some way that the
So I mean, I'm just like I'm flabbergasted that it's GW. GW didn't know about copyright. Like, huh? The
to be fair,
GW.
this was a product from the 80s, and it was all of this drama started in the 80s,
Yeah.
and they were still a small company back then.
Yeah, I guess.
It
Oh,
was also
okay.
a Warhammer Fantasy Battles character as well. So,
Yes, it would have been. Yeah, okay, cool.
but yeah,
Um,
the so yeah, first edition Horus Heresy. There was that fifth detachment of Chaos Demons, which basically allowed you to take Chaos Demons as loyalists to the Emperor.
oh, really?
Oh yeah, because it's Chaos eating itself. So it was a faction
Oh,
of
that,
Chaos
yeah,
that was
okay.
fighting against Chaos.
Okay, I got you. That's quite interesting. I like that. All right. But that is the. I mean, we've been here for a long time. We
Yeah,
haven't even got to the meat and potatoes of this.
we haven't got to the
Um,
meat and potatoes.
so
So
who have we got left?
we'll likely cover the next two, which are Creations of Bile, which is just
Oh,
the
they're fabulous. So they're super atheist, fabulous bile well, Fabius bile, but everyone calls him fabulous because he is
yeah
he's got that pimp cane and that
fabulous
walk.
Bill with the pimp cane and cloak. The only thing that his model is missing is a fabulous pimp hat, and
Yep, that's
I'm
all he
sure
needs.
there are many kit bashes that put a fabulous pimp hat on him.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
um,
Fabulous Bile is literally the mad scientist of 40k. He's the
yeah,
Dr. Frankenstein that he's on a quest, I believe, for human perfection or the next evolution in
yeah,
humanity.
it
And
is.
he's
Yeah,
done that by basically just making a bunch of abominations
yeah.
and
The,
dabbling
the
in
new
dark sides.
the new men, and he has made both male and female new men, and he actually has a world where they've actually been able to reproduce and create a
Well, they're a
uh,
tiny species, basically.
yeah, it's basically a tiny new species that he's created. They venerate him as a god, basically, and
And he
he
calls them cringe for it, I'm
yeah,
sure.
he does call them cringe, but unlike the Emperor, he hasn't destroyed their planet for
He hasn't burnt them to the
it.
ground yet. Okay.
Yeah, he just goes, I understand why that they call me a god, considering I literally created them. It's cringe, but okay.
I mean, it makes more sense that to him
Yeah,
than the Chaos Gods. Yeah, that he's like,
yeah,
I did physically create them,
yeah.
so it makes sense. Okay. Yeah,
Um,
Fabulous Bile. He's got some cool stuff. I like Fabulous
he,
Bile.
he,
He's a dick. He's also, it should be said, is a real prick.
yeah. I
There's a
mean,
short story
can,
recently after the
can you
after the
name
13th.
a Warhammer character who is not a dick?
There's probably an unknown human somewhere that's not a dick, but they're unknown
Yeah,
to the wider lore. But yeah, there was a great law recently, just to show how much of a dick he was. He basically, because he trades with everyone, he does genetic like experiments and stuff, and especially
Yeah.
like gene seed implantations to make more Astartes for some of the chaos
Yeah.
factions, because they really struggle with mutations and stuff. It's really hard to get gene seed and make gene seed stick to people,
Yeah.
or get pure gene seed. So he makes a lot of deals with everyone. And one of those being the Death Guard, and
Yeah.
so he was like, oh, okay, I'm helping out the Death Guard, la 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 la. Then he just stole one of the most important relics because
Yes.
because
Because he
it was like
wanted
a
it.
chest of
It,
pure, yeah, basically it was a
it
chest
was
of like
there. It caught his
pure,
eye, and he just went into full magpie mode and just went, yoink.
basically, but it was like I think it's a chest of just like pure malady, where
Yeah.
it just has like the most horrendous diseases like locked away in there, not necessary to contain them, just for safekeeping in case Nurgle wants to use them for later.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm gonna take that, and he
Yeah.
did take that. Then he put it in a stasis. I think he threw it in a stasis field, and it's so like toxic. Basically, stasis fields are basically a time barrier that like just stops time in the field, right?
Yes.
Perfectly preserves it. This thing is so toxic. He has to have a psyker in there as well, a sorcerer, constantly like he has to rotate them out as well. That constantly keeps up a psychic barrier for it as well,
Yeah.
to stop it from leaking out. And so he has to rotate them because if he doesn't, they get sick and die. And some of them had died already. Bearing
Yeah.
in mind this chest is in a time field and it's
Yeah.
still poisoning people, he decided that was a good idea to take that.
Yeah.
And then the entire I cannot stress enough, the Death Guard is still a legion. They didn't break up into chapters. They're still very much a legion. He
Yeah.
gets hunted by
They-
one of the largest battle fleets that they have, led by Typhus himself, to
Yeah.
hunt him down. And to get away,
Uh,
he sacrifices his own loyal Astartes commander. He literally disables the engines on his ship, sabotages them. He has to do this, by the way, in beforehand, when he's stealing the chest, he makes this decision so that he can get away, and just basically blows up his commander's ship, stops its engines, and leaves them to the Death Guard, right?
Yeah.
The fate of the Death Guard, just so he can be like, it gets away. And he's talking to the commander the entire time. He's like, yeah, I did that. Fuck you, I'm out. He tells him.
And then he's still being hunted down. He turns up to another place and promises them to turn them into super chaos space marines. And this is the brazen drakes or something like that. He promises.
Is he the reason for the heresy of the Brazen Drakes?
They did fall to chaos before he turned up.
Oh, okay.
But
they're a salamander chapter, right?
Something like
They're a
that.
successor chapter,
Yeah.
and they have a massive internal civil war. Half them are loyal, half them are heretics.
Yes. And
he's
he turns up, helps the side that are heretics in their civil war, helps them win that war. But whilst he's doing that, the Custodes turn up with the Primaris reinforcement.
Yes, this
sees
is how
the
I
civil
know,
war
'cause I know
going
the
on,
story.
tells the Primaris to not do anything, and the Primaris do the same thing that Magnus did, which is do nothing wrong.
Well, to be fair,
In the fact that they did something rather than nothing. And so the Custodes murdered them all.
It's a little bit more complicated than that. The Custodians were definitely not in the right.
Oh no, yeah, the Custodians were definitely not in the right, but they told them not to do anything. And
well, the chapter master does. He basically is like, "Hey, like we're their reinforcements. We should be figuring out who's a heretic and who's a loyalist, helping the loyalists kill the heretics." And the Custodians is like, "Nah, They all like half their legion is tainted, half the chapter's tainted. Fuck all of them.
Yeah.
they're guilty by default of
Yeah.
half of them being heretics,
Yeah.
and just leaves them. And then his like the chapter master tries to argue it. Custodians
It's
have
not even
another
a chapter
day.
master, it's just a captain.
Oh, Captain, sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
Because
But
obviously,
then he's like, okay, I better drop it, and it's like like just a normal space battle brother. It's not even
yeah.
like a lieutenant or anything like that. Then says one more thing like, we really should help. The custodian blows his brains out in front of everybody, and then it just goes to hell. Like, because battle
Yeah.
brothers are like, he's just shot our battle brother. We're definitely going to defend like
Yeah.
ourselves. And the custodian's like, nope, and just start cutting everything.
Yeah. And then at the end of it,
Nuts.
at the end of that battle, the custodian and a sister of battle was just like standing next to each other, and the sister of battle goes, "We fucked up," and the custodian's like, "Yeah," and
He's like, we're a custodies. We can't fuck up. We are
yeah,
always right. And it's just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh god, dude. Oh. I didn't realize Bible was joining that. Was involved
Yeah.
in that.
So he got involved in that, helped the heretic side of that fight win the civil war.
I'm sure he got something out of it.
Yeah, he did. He got an army.
Oh, they declared loyalty to him, did they? Okay.
He only helped them if they would help him, and so they did.
Of course.
And then basically when they managed to escape the planet, they obviously attacked the Torchbearer fleet, which has custodians in it. I believe that they did kill some custodians on their way out. So the custodians then the custodians went, okay, we found out that Fabulous Bill was there, so we're going to hunt him down. So he's now being he was then being hunted by both the custodians and the Death Guard. And so, Galaxy Brain Bile goes,
he pit them against each other.
Goes, well, I still need to, study this thing that I've stolen from the Death Guard. I'm going to go to this planet, have my army protect me for as long as I can get, long as I need to study everything I need to learn about this thing. Then I'm just going to leave this thing here so the Death Guard can collect it later.
Claim it.
So then we don't have to deal with it. And I'm going to have all three of them fight each other, and I'm just going to leave.
What, even the Brazen Drakes, he just leaves there?
Yeah, he leaves the Brazen Drakes.
Oh, what a dick! They didn't even do anything! Oh, good old Bill. What a dick!
Fabulous Bill.
Oh, and he pimped walk. Shut up, baby, I know it. Imagine that's what happened. The fire drake. Where you going, Bill? Shut up, baby, I know it. Pimp walking out of there.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that's amazing. What a dick.
Another bit of amazing Fabulous Bill lore is that his apothecarian gear is sentient and is reproducing, and he's still trying to figure out what it's reproducing with. Because it's birthing babies, and he's trying to figure out what the hell it's mating with to create these children.
How? Okay, I guess I don't even want to know, actually, how or why.
Yeah.
Or what he's done. If he was even...
As far as I'm aware, he's not involved in this. It's just the fact that he's been in the warp for so long
that it happened, yeah.
That it has developed its own sentience and then has then just figured out how to reproduce. But it's reproducing with something, and he can't figure out what it is. It's not like, it's splitting itself apart and turning into two things. It's mating.
What is it birthing?
Basically spiders that are made up of apothecarian bits.
That's okay. That's so bizarre. It's warp for you, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. bit of crazy scientist shenanigans going on.
Yeah.
I love it. What's our last?
The
Chaos faction?
last one before we do Iron Warriors is the Red Corsairs. I was about to say Crimson Fists for some reason. They're red.
Crimson's very loyal.
Yeah, very
very,
loyal.
very loyal.
Red Corsairs. So Red Corsairs are basically the new version of the Renegade chapters. Because whilst you still can play Renegade chapters and just use any of the Legion rules, they're the only one that is specifically not of the Legions, because they are. Apart from like a few people who didn't want to join Black Legion, didn't want to be part of their original Legion, so went off to be pirates and joined the Red Corsairs. They are all like from
essentially,
other foundings.
led by Huron Blackheart, I believe is his
Yes.
name.
Huron
Who was
Huron, the man who didn't want to pay taxes.
basically not totally unjust, actually.
To be fair, the reason that he stopped paying taxes was because he was fighting a war and they would not reinforce him. So he turned around and went, if you're not going to reinforce me, I need these resources that I'm giving to you in tithes to build up my
to
forces
fund this
to
war
continue
and
fighting this war. Because
like
I actually have a plan, but I need at
Yeah.
least one more chapter. And if you're not going to give me it, I'm just going to claim to be on crusade and build my chapter up to be the size of
which
two
is
chapters.
look, the thing is, all the Space Marine chapters and things have done way worse. like
Oh, yes.
so much worse than just going, hey, I'm fighting your war for you. This is what you've sent me to do. Can you help me out? No. Okay, cool. Well, I need to just keep on living. I need this. Like, I'm not going to pay tax because I need to do this job that you've given me. And they're like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Str8. It's like, what?
The best part was the Imperium didn't care until the neighboring sector actually started a war over it. The Imperium were like, well, okay, I mean, he is still loyal and still doing stuff. And he didn't actually, secede until they started kicking off about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, and then didn't they send a chapter? It was a whole civil war thing where they sent in a chapter to quell him, basically, even though he was trying to fight a war against chaos. And I believe, I don't know, does he get hit by a melter shot?
Yes, he gets it right at the end. He gets hit by a melter shot, basically dies.
Yeah, for those at home that don't know, a melter shot is it's a type of gas that is superheated to where it can punch holes through like a foot of metal. It's an anti-tank weapon.
A melter weapon is an anti-tank weapon. Melter weapons are not clearly defined by what they do, because there have been many different depictions.
There's so many
of them.
iterations, but the point is it's superheat. It's like a superheated shotgun that blasts heated gas and just melts whatever it touches. It's ridiculous. This man took it to the chest.
The one that Jurgen has the one that Jurgen has in the Guy of Kane books is literally a microwave gun.
Yeah, it can be microwave as well. Yeah. Usually, it's like the standard melter gun is superheated gas.
Yeah,
usually, but it can be microwave as well.
It's something that's either so hot or so controlled energy that it melts up.
The whole point, melter gun, it's in the name, it melts shit.
Yes.
This man got hit with it, and I think like 70% of his body was fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
Something like that. And
the only way he survived was making a deal with Nurgle.
Oh, is that true? Is it a deal with the Nurgle?
Yeah, so if you read the Huron book, or you get the audio book for it, he admits that he's been making deals with Chaos. And
Well, he clearly has, because in
clearly
the
he
Night
has, because
Lord trilogy, he has like he's got like everyone in the Corsairs has like um the gods, like either the Chaos Star or elite or a specific god
yeah,
on them. They're all massive Chaos worship.
yeah. But he does say that he has made at least one deal with every god.
Yeah, he's done the whole Abaddon like
Yeah,
where it's no one can own my soul if all four Chaos Gods claim it. It's
yeah,
the ultimate, like, oh well, when I die, who's getting it? Because you're all got a claim to it. I've
yeah,
done deals with everyone, so no one can claim it.
yeah. But yeah, he made it. Obviously, he made a deal with Nurgle at the beginning just to stay alive after being hit with a melter gun that literally destroyed both of his hearts.
Yeah, he is literally more machine than man. He
Yeah,
is
he's more
so.
machine than man now.
And then even in the Night Lord's book, they have to constantly do surgery on him, don't they? Because he
Yeah,
keeps spazzing out and having like seizures.
yeah, and
Keep having to, yeah,
in
they
his
keep having to do brain surgery.
in his own book, that still happens. Like he doesn't get shown as having the seizures in the book, but he is constantly being monitored by a chaos apothecary
Mm.
and a chaos techmarine as well. So a warpsmith basically.
Yeah, which makes sense because he's mostly machine.
Yeah, he's mostly machine, and the
So he's
apothecary
both
is
of
just
them.
there to keep the flesh parts of him still alive.
Yeah.
Uh,
I need a doctor and a technician.
and then he's also got the chaos familiar as well.
Oh, the weird pet thing he
Yeah,
has.
the weird pet
Yeah.
thing, which is literally an extension of his will. It's not a separate thing. He can see through it and everything.
Yeah, it's like a psychic creature
Yeah,
that he bonded with or something. Yeah, it's
yeah.
really weird.
I believe it was one of the gifts that he was given by the Chaos Gods.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Um,
Sounds like a Zinj thing.
it. The thing is, from the descriptions of it, it's the way that it's described by other people. It seems more like a Nurgle thing from the way it's described. So it
Oh,
might have been
really?
it might have been part of his deal with Nurgle in the beginning.
Okay.
But he does warn people on making deals with the Chaos Gods. He's like, it's not something to be taken lightly, which is
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
Because
Yeah, which is fair.
if you take it lightly when you're making a deal with the Chaos Gods, they are just going to take your soul.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're
And most
another
probably,
plague bearer on the pile.
yeah,
Or
or
bloodletter or whatever.
be a what is it, a Chaos Spawn.
Yeah, you can become. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he gives people warnings because one of his lieutenants, who's a fairly new member to the um,
Corsairs.
Corsairs, he's a former Blood Angel.
Oh, really? He's a blood angel turned traitor.
Yeah, he's a Blood Angel turned traitor. He was in charge of the Blackstone Fortress that Abaddon gave him,
Okay.
and had Rabute Gilliman captive on that Blackstone Fortress at one point.
Oh, he was that.
He
Wow.
was that
Okay.
guy.
I didn't realize he switched sides to become Corsair. Makes a
And
lot of
then
sense if he failed Abaddon.
the, that law, he was always a Corsair. He was the
Oh,
Corsairs
really?
who captured Gilliman
Gilliman. Oh, damn. Okay.
and the Terran Crusade.
Yeah, I always thought it was a Black Legionary that did it.
Yeah, it was the Red Corsairs that did it and put him in the Blackstone Fortress. And they had the Macragg's honor.
Damn.
The
Okay.
Rabute's flagship. And in
Jesus.
fact, in the horrors, not the horrors, the uh, what's his name? In the Huron.
Hero.
I
Yeah.
think it's Tyrant of the Maelstrom. Let me just check.
Yeah, it's Tyre. He lives in the Maelstrom. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying
It's
to
like a
remember
big naval
the name.
base.
I'm trying to remember the name of the book. I've got it
Oh, okay.
in my audiobooks. It is in here somewhere. I might have gone past it. Surely it's in it. Huron Blackheart, Master of the Maelstrom. That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. In that book, the guy that's in charge of it, who's was in charge of the Blackstone Fortress and has the Crag's Honor, is like, I offer you the Crag's Honor as a flagship for you. And Huron's like, you know what? You keep it. And everyone's like, what? Why is he allowing this person to keep this? That doesn't seem right. And then when one of his closest advisor comes up to him, he goes, I think you're giving him a bit too much trust there. And Huron just goes, yeah, well, that ship is clearly still loyal to the Ultramarines. And I mean, if you want to go in there, because it is one of his closest advisors is a warpsmith. He's like, I'm going to let you join them and work on the ship and infest it with viruses and that. But, you know, I know that it's never going to work for me. And I don't
because
need it.
the machine spirit is loyal as hell.
Yeah. The machine spirits in that are going to be loyal to the Ultramarines, and it's going to take way too long for you with any viruses, any scrap code, whatever, to get in there and make it loyal to me. So I'm just going to let him have it until it's loyal to us. And then if that ever happens, I'll take it. But until then, he can have a ship that's probably going to betray him in the last moments, whatever. And guess what happens at the end of the book?
Betrays him straight
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, literally.
Well, plus, I'm like, yeah, you know whose flagship that is? The only Primarch that's hit around.
Yeah.
Like, guess who wants it back?
Yeah. Guess what happens? The Ultramarines turn up.
Yeah, no shit. Like, absolutely would.
And they recapture the ship.
Yeah, probably kill the Blood Angel dude.
Yeah, I think he does die actually in that book.
Yep.
Although I don't know whether he dies to the Ultramarines or dies to Huron.
Oh, okay.
Huron is basically racing this guy to this thing called the Tyrant's Hand.
Oh, the guy straight up betrays it but tries to take it for himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Tyrant's Hand is a piece of technology that can be used to control Blackstone fortresses.
Okay. Alrighty then. Damn.
Hence the reason why Huron wants it, because he has a Blackstone fortress.
Yeah. I mean, there's no honor among thieves. It's pirates being pirates, which it's what I love about the Corsairs. It's just a bunch of pirates being pirates.
Yeah.
Pirates doing pirate things.
Like,
it's great.
There's only loyalty in the person who's.
There's actually a hell of a lot of Corsairs as well.
Yeah.
There's so many Corsairs. Like,
if I remember correctly, they are the second largest Chaos Force.
Which is crazy because, like I said, the Death Guard are still Legion.
Yeah, the Death Guard are still Legion.
The Corsairs are larger than them.
I believe that if they're not the second largest, they're one of the largest. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure you are right. I'm pretty sure it goes.
I think it's Black Legion,
Red
Corsairs, and then Death Guard. Yeah,
which is insane that the Death Guard are still, because the Death Guard are like, they fell back from the heresy. They really organized and fell back strategically. They didn't just rout; they strategically fell back. And went back to the Eye as a whole legion and have stayed mostly a whole legion. There are a few warbands, mostly led by Typhus.
Yeah,
because Typhus and Noggle
obviously there's been obviously the odd squad and that odd character have left to join the Black Legion as well
and stuff. Yeah, fill their ranks, but mostly because they don't have 10 companies anymore. They have 7 Vectorums, because of course they do.
Oh, of
But
course,
it's
it's
still,
a holy number.
yeah, exactly. So, but it's still, the size of a legion.
Yeah,
It's still like 100,000, 5,000, 50,000 to 100,000 Space Marines, and the Corsairs are larger than that.
yeah,
It's just insane how much power that is.
yeah. It's insane until you think about it enough to know that even Huron's like, I cannot trust this force. Like the only ones
That's the
that
thing, yeah.
the only ones I can trust are the Astral Claw members that were with me.
Yeah, the original OG members,
Yeah,
yeah.
the original OG members.
Before they became Corsairs, because they were the
Yeah,
Astral Claws first. Yeah, that's the thing. So that's the thing with both Black Legion and Red Corsairs is
yeah,
they're also backstabby or typically chaosy to the point where they're backstabbing, murder each other, and all sorts of shenanigans in between to gain power. The Death Guard, they're being chaos. They still have that to an extent, but it's
it,
such a smaller scale problem than
it's more of a case of the like leaders
it'll
of
be
each of
like. Yeah,
it,
so like the one like a space marine might try to overthrow the captain of the warband or the
yeah.
and
Uh,
but they'll get that warband, but that warband will still be absolutely loyal to the Legion.
yeah, it's
So
also
it's not
like
too much of an issue.
it'll be a case of if there is like a member of one of the um whatever they're called now, not companies but the 7 whatever,
The Vectorum.
that person might be trying to get greater favor with Mortarion by outdoing or you know
Well,
betraying another one of
not
the.
not massively though,
But yeah,
because
it would be the odd time every once in a blue moon.
yeah, because
It's not a common occurrence.
the thing is that with the Death Guard, because they're all Legion, they're all Horus Heresy. They're all originally from Barbarous,
Yeah,
Mortarion's homeworld. They all know each other, and they all like they've gone through the 10,000 years together. They very rarely, the original OGs do not betray each other. They
yeah,
just don't. And it's more the new guys that try to do it. But then
yeah,
the OGs have 10,000 years of experience, and
yeah.
honestly, just
Not,
backhand them back down.
not just 10,000 years of experience of just warfare, but also 10,000 years of experience of being Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah,
They, they,
exactly.
they've watched it all happen to everyone else. They know the
Yeah,
signs. So
yeah, and
it, if a former Ultramarine who becomes a Plague Marine who joins the Death Guard decides, actually, I want to become the leader because I should be, because I'm an Ultramarine, because I'm a dick like that, because all
yeah,
Ultramarines that way, no matter what
yeah,
side they're on. Solarian, I'm talking about you. um, they see the signs, they see it coming a mile away, and they just go, try, come
yeah.
at me. You're
The
not gonna
Lords of
win.
Silence is the only Death Guard book, and it is like it's so good because 70% of the book is them actually being like they kind of like depressing, and they also like jeer at each other and poke at each other a lot, but
Yeah,
they're still brothers.
yeah,
So it's a real sort of like, oh, they're together, and real eye open to how they live and like how chaosy everything is, like how Nurgle lives. And the other 30% is a fucking horror fest where you get the perspective of anyone they go up against, and
yeah,
it turns from this like this camaraderie and this like sort of like oh like jokingly like talking about each other, and there's some sort of there is a little bit of a coup in there as well, but it's not like super serious.
yeah.
And all the Plague Marines are weirdly polite to everyone. It's sort of jolly, and then it's the 30% where it's certain chapters suddenly switch to like human perspective for fighting them, and it just is horrifying to
Yeah.
the ninth degree, and it just turns into a horror fest. There is no like, it's so good. All this jolly, hey, how are you today? Like, oh brother, and all this, and then it's just like, oh my god, they're coming. I don't know what they are. My eyes have just melted out my face. Like,
Yeah.
It's so good. I love it.
We keep coming back to Death Guard. They're going to be next month. Stop talking about them.
I need to. I love them. Well, since my faction's next week, and we've just finished the Corsairs, why don't you talk about your faction?